Sorry.
Okay, welcome to Pools of Narrheit, the actual play Castles and Crusades game run by me. I am your castle keeper, if I could talk, Sam, and my players are going to introduce themselves in whatever order they want. Let's start with Leonise.
Yeah, hold on, is the stream running? All right.
Should be.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm playing Leonise, the stream is not an Orlu, so both as a it's because it's adverse ring. Sorry. Yes, I'm playing a high elf, and I can do magic and I can fight.
Excellent. Is the stream not showing up for you?
The adverts.
I can see it on Twitch.
Yeah, it's catching up now.
Okay. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Matt. I'm playing Xenolesimus Fey, a monk who of uncertain religion so far. Who's next? Rekmit?
Sure. Robert playing Rekmit Silverbeard, the Dwarven Runemark? Yeah, that's it.
Bernie.
Well, I am Richard, and I am playing Bernie. I'm your basic human fighter, and I came along to be fun.
And last but not least, Jake Tildor.
Hi, I'm George Hardy. I'm playing Jake Tildor, human cleric of Durandale.
All right. Okay, so who wants to do the recap? I ask this every week. No one ever wants to do it.
I can do it. So the party went inside the earth underneath this mushroom root system kind of thing, and we found a bunch of statues, found a bunch of centipedes. We finished off 3 of the smaller centipedes after killing the big mama centipede in episode 4. We found a room with a green boiling pool in it. The walls and the ceiling and the floor were covered with centipede eggs. After Zeno pocketed one of the eggs, the group went north and found a room with flowing water that flowed in from a large hole in the floor, or that flowed into a large hole in the floor. Bert inspected the hole, which was incredibly deep, and we decided not to go down the hole. We went over to the green misty doorway that was leading north. After a confusing couple minutes where we lost Bernie, it appears that if you go through the door individually, you go to a different place, but otherwise we all went through, and we went into a room that had 4 statues in the corners, doors to the west and the north, and a circle in the center dedicated to Narrheit. Going west, the bird almost died in a pit trap, but it led to a torture chamber. We found a fairy trapped in a cage. Leonise understood that the creature was kidnapped with a bunch of his people, and its shape was changed into a big fairy, and so it couldn't talk. As the fairy left, we let it go. It went through the green mist. The green mist dispelled the magic and fixed its speech, and it came back to help us out to kick some ass.
And it's now a tiny creature, so while it is an ally, it is quite small now, but that's okay. And its name is?
Blip.
Blip. Blip is its name.
Blip.
And at the end of the session, I believe you chose to take a rest in this room with the table, and it's the room that had the cage in it. And right before you sort of settled in, Bert saw a trapdoor in the ceiling. And who found the secret door?
Never know who found it.
Whoever searched behind the cage, was it Rekmit?
I can't remember who did it. I have it written down probably in my notes, but I don't have them in front of me. So a secret door was found, and it was on the other side of the cage, which led everyone to believe that that secret door is old, because this structure seems to be of ancient dwarven build, and this room in particular has a bunch of different artworks carved into the walls that depict a lot of dwarven things going on. And so, in any case, the cage is a new cage, and it was put in front of the secret door. So the assumption there is that the people who put the cage there did not realize they were blocking a secret door. Or maybe they did, who knows. So, you're taking a rest. How long are you going to take a rest for? And now I have to get my notes, because I believe that you told me your watch order. Yes, so Bert was going to be first, then Bernie. That way there's a few hours for the spellcasters to get some rest. But I don't have who is going to watch after that, so we need at least 2 more people.
Zeno will keep an eye after that.
I don't mind taking a turn on watch.
And actually, because I don't have to memorize spells, I don't think I need to sleep. Or I don't need to do the usual 8 hours.
Okay. Okay,
Is
so
I don't have to
anyone
memorize
wounded?
spells either.
yeah.
Is anyone wounded?
So Blip was, but I
I don't
believe
think so.
I believe you healed Blip.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
6 points of healing you granted to Blip, and Blip said that he's from the Great Hollow Forest. All right, so let me make a couple of rolls here.
Oh yeah, Zeno's down 4 points.
There you go. Zeno needs some healing.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
He's already healed once. I'm more than out of character already, so who knows? One heal a day.
I will point out that even down 4 points, Zeno has more hit points than almost all of you. So
Yeah, it's good as only.
all right. Okay. The night passes without any trouble. You do, however, Zeno actually believes that he hears some kind of activity in the room that you first entered this area in. So the big room that had the mark on the floor. It sounded like there were some people walking through there. It wasn't a large commotion. It was just sort of footsteps, and they didn't even, no one disturbed the room that you're in, but you did hear some footsteps, it seems like.
So when I wake Bernie up, I will let him know that I heard some footsteps in the other room.
Okay. So other than that disturbance, there were no major events last night. So everybody wakes relatively well rested, as much as can be well rested in a nasty, defiled place.
Do we heal any? We heal any hit points from resting?
So healing, if you rest, you heal 1 hit point per day. If you're not in a nice, you're not in a 4-star hotel right now, but you still heal 1 hit point per day. If you are well fed, kept warm, and having your wounds tended and in a comfy bed, you might heal 1d3 hit points, but right now you only heal 1. So everybody gets back 1 hit point. I will also point out at this time that if you were in the negative HP zone, or if you were at 0 or below, you would not actually get the benefit of that natural healing. No one's in that condition, though, so it's fine. Okay. So it's now morning. Well, or what passes for morning. Is there anything you would like to do before the day begins?
Everyone, during my watch last night, I heard some sounds in the room that we came in. I didn't inspect it, and I didn't wake anyone up, because I know you need to learn your magic.
I appreciate that. But what kind of sounds was it?
It was just the sounds of footsteps. They were just normally measured, not running, not going super slow, and they just seemed like they went through the room. They didn't disturb us at all. Perhaps it was because the pit trap was open.
Interesting. Somebody came through the doors. Which, do you know, did they go from north to south? Did they go to the corridor, or did they coming from the corridor? Or both?
I know not. I did not inspect it for fear of waking everyone up into a battle.
Yeah. Perhaps clearly someone is opening that door.
Also, one thing I forgot, Bernie rolled enough ones last session to suffer a wastage roll. So, Bernie, I need you to make me an unmodified D20 roll.
Okay. Here you go. Okay. 11.
Perfect. So you inspect your equipment, and it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. There's no large notches out of your axe. There's no extremely dull points. There's nothing wrong with your armor that you can't buff out very quickly. So it appears that you have avoided that particular nuisance.
Okay.
Once you're all awake and you start moving around and doing things, Blip starts flying around the room. It looks better than it looked at all the entire rest of the time you've seen it. Of course, it's a lot smaller now, so maybe it's just that its wounds are smaller and you can't really see them. But it does seem much more energetic than it did previously.
Does it speak any other language than it only speaks Sylvan?
It speaks Sylvan, and that's it.
Yep, okay. So Leonese will call out, says, "Glad to see you flying around and looking good again. You're feeling much better, I assume."
It kind of does a somersault in the air, and when it speaks, you still hear that sort of chimey bells, the weird bell sound, but also you understand what it's saying in sort of this sort of broken Sylvan. It says, "Yes, I'm much more like myself than I've been in a long time."
Good. So good. Oh, you want to stay with us? I still feel the same?
I do. I want to get those people who took my comrades. They took my brothers and sisters.
Oh, yes, true. Okay.
Leonese.
Welcome.
Leonese.
Yes.
Ask it if it knows how long it's been here.
Leonese goes but turns back. So now you're feeling better. Let's try and understand what happened. So how long have you been here? Do you know? Any idea?
I don't think I count the days the same way that you do. I don't know your reckoning. But it has been longer than I think My natural lifespan. I think when they made us big, it changed us.
Oh. What is your natural lifespan?
That is a good question, the DM says.
I wonder how many of them there were.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. It's like, and what happened to them? Did you see?
200 years is my normal lifespan.
Oh, wow.
I am but 50. I'm a young one. I feel 50 now. I did not feel 50 when I was big.
Perhaps it was the effect. So how many of you altogether did they capture?
They only captured 4 of us. It was me and my brother and my 2 cousins. All in a big net.
What happened to your brother and your cousins?
They turned us all big and they went mad. They turned dark and they did bad things and it broke their brains.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It severed their tie from our Fey homeland and they knew they could never get back, and that made it even worse. They fought and they perished. The things ate them.
You ate them?
They set their pets on us, and they ate my cousins.
Indeed they shall pay. So Leonese will relay this all to everybody.
Can he describe what the pets were, and did the people or whoever took him look like any of us, of our races?
Oh, that's true. We've got quite a collection here. Leo's going and goes, so as you can see, there are several species here. Were any of your captors like this, and what were the animals? Do you remember?
They were all human. And the animals were big things with hard shells on them.
Many legs?
Lots of pieces, lots of legs.
Yeah. Ooh.
They're not usually dangerous. We tried to befriend them, but these were mean. I think they made them big and it turned them bad too.
Oh, interesting. The centipedes were their pets.
Oh, the Centilisks. Wonderful.
Hmm.
Or the Bassipedes.
So while you were kept here, did you see anything? Did you see them walking past at all in the other room?
They used to come through all the time, but lately they haven't. I don't know what changed.
Mm. She'll help you avenge your loss.
Does he know when the cousins and brothers fought and died? How long ago that was? I realize he doesn't understand time the same way we do, but it might give us some kind of idea.
I know you've been locked down here for a long time, and it may be difficult, but how long before your brother and cousins turned mad and were killed?
Maybe 50 years? By your years, maybe? It's been a really long time.
Been a very long.
That does seem to match up a little bit with that whatever's going on in that Narrheit temple.
Yeah.
Zeno said he heard walking in the other room last night. I wonder if that's that one dude who got run out of town. I can't remember the name.
That door is obviously being opened, but I wonder if maybe we can get in another way through this secret door.
and there's potential of other doors that we haven't found yet. Other means of entry.
Then maybe.
And there's the trapdoor above, don't forget.
Yeah, and then we've got the trapdoor in the ceiling. So, we start. Where shall we start?
Probably see if we can open the secret door, right? Do we want to? I mean, should we go check the hallway, the main room, and see if the door's open?
We could see if it's open.
Zeno will go out there and check to see if he can notice any fresh footprints, if they were walking north to south or south to north.
Yeah, so when you go in there, you notice two things. There are footprints from south to north, and they look like they go through that door, through the double door up there in the north. The doors open in, and you can actually see where the doors swept open. They didn't scrape, but you could see where the dust has been sort of disturbed under where the doors would have opened. Also, the second thing that you note is the scribbles, the scribe on the floor that Rekhmit had taken a chunk out of. The entire thing has been, it looks like it's been cleaned and scrubbed. And
restored?
And there's like filler chunks of rock where Rekhmit took chunks out of there.
So I'll call back. Rekhmit, someone has fixed your handiwork with the scrollings of Narrheit on the statue. It appears they left from the door we could not get through and exited. Before they did, they fixed the circle.
Well, I'm going to do a thing.
I'm going to go to the north and check the doors and see if they open.
They are locked.
And Rekhmit's going to go deface that carving again, engraving, whatever it is.
Okay, with what?
I'm going to steal somebody's crowbar again.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be happy to lend you one. What do you want to do? I mean, you want to try? I got some pythons too. If you want to try to like drive something in there and really chunk it up.
Yeah, let's do that.
I was going to say we could do that.
I got a hammer and some pythons, so I'll assist him with really defacing that thing.
So Leonese, so she'll get there and she'll start chiseling away with a hammer and pitons and really try and break this thing up.
Pop it up more. Really take this out. Don't take any chunks to get in front.
Zeno, as soon as they start like hammering things in, you hear on the other side of the door, you hear footsteps come closer. And then you hear shh.
So
you can entice
I'm going to immediately turn around to Rekhmit and see if I can visually get his attention without calling out. But I'm going to be like, stop. I'm going to give him hand signals for someone's on the other door, walking.
If I see him, I'll stop.
Okay, I'm going to role play. This is Rekhmit does kind of be paying attention to Zeno and does notice that I presume I can interpret what he's trying to do. And tell him, I'll just tell you guys, hold it for a second. Zeno heard or seen or saw something really quietly.
Okay. I would assume that you've all been traveling together for several days now, that you've worked out a little bit of a modicum of
stop, but I'm going to go ahead and get my weapon back in my hands.
Okay.
After a couple of seconds, Leonese notices that Rekhmit has stopped bashing at it and kind of looks at him.
Yeah, I mean, if Leonese would keep doing stuff, I'd go over and put my arm on or my hand on his shoulder to just kind of like let him know just to stop.
What's Jake doing? You're muted.
What do you speak? What?
Silent
Keep
cleric.
gonna be ready for whatever comes through the door. What they're doing with the door.
Okay, so are you going to stand anywhere, or what are you?
Let's see. Yeah, I will be near the pit. I'll move my figure. There we go.
Okay.
That's where Duke is.
I'm gonna leave Bernie in the other room and say that he is going to work on seeing if he can get that secret door open and make sure that there's nothing having a problem there. Here's Bernie. Okay, so Zeno, you don't hear anything else. The last thing you heard was them saying shh.
Well, I mean, if we cause some more noise, they might be opening the door for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to signal the Rekmit to keep banging, and I'm going to move to hide behind the door over here.
Okay.
And I guess signal everybody to get in their position so when the door opens, we can surprise attack.
All right. So Leonese will actually move like here and have a bow ready.
Right. Rackmit's going to turn his back to the door and start banging away. Whenever he gets in position, he'll start banging away on the figure thing again.
Okay.
Probably the best bait anyways, because guys are all better attack. I'm a good decoy. I'm a little fish on a little worm on a hook.
Who has a light source is also a question.
Leonese doesn't worry about those.
Well, I would have a light source out if I've been there doing some work. If I've been in there working, I would have had a light source out.
Okay. Also, by the way, for the listeners/watchers, we are having a giveaway, and it will be a giveaway for a $10 certificate for use at the Troll Lord Games web store. So that'll be nice. So stick around. Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding what you're doing correctly. Rekmit is going to start chiseling again, and everyone else is sort of set against whoever might open that door. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Well, we don't know what Bernie was doing, if he was setting up for it or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So as Rekmit starts or continues to hammer into that, Zeno, you hear a click and what sounds like something sliding on the other side of the door. And then ever so slowly, the doors start to open, and they open into the room. And as they open in, they stop after just a couple inches, and you get the sense that someone is trying to look through the gap between the two doors, right? They're trying to see what's going on.
I'm going to grab the door and rip it open.
That's what it is.
Okay.
I don't want them shutting it. You know, we need to take them out before they run and get help.
As you do that, you pull the door all the way in, and still hanging on to the handle of the door is a human who now is pulled into the room, kind of flung into the room like this, and he's a little bit shocked because he didn't expect to find himself in the middle of 5 individuals. And he kind of says, "Hey, wait!" And he looks over, and he looks at Zeno, and he says, "Who are you? I don't think you belong here."
What's he dressed in?
Can I tell anything? Can I tell anything by how he's dressed? Is he wearing like symbols of Narrheit or anything?
He is in dark green robes, and they don't have any symbols in view, but you don't know of an active church in this area that has that type of color green, but green is associated with Narrheit.
I don't know. It's tempting. What are you doing here?
We are getting ready for the ritual. Are you the hired guards?
What ritual? What ritual is this? The summoning of Narrheit?
No, bringing forth his children, of course.
And I'm gonna open palm strike this guy right in the chest
Okay. Go ahead and give me a two.
while he's still talking.
Using that as a clue, I'll step forward to take a swing as well.
What does Leonise see on? What do we see through the door? Now the door's ripped open.
The door is open. On the other side, you see. Let me figure out what exactly you would see from that angle.
Zeno, kind of like looking through.
Ruckman will be looking too because he'll have turned around to look straight through the door.
Sure. You see from this vantage point the only door that's open right now. Let me go to Owlbear here. The only door that's open is the one next to Zeno, or next to where Zeno's token is.
Yeah.
And so Leonise has this sort of angular view into the room, and sees there's actually a brazier in that corner. There's a rectangular room, okay, and you're looking sort of at one corner of it. And
Right.
It has a brazier that is actually burning green flame.
Ooh.
And about 5 or 6 feet away from that, kind of diagonally, still barely in your range of view, because you can only see a slice of the room, you see
Sure.
a pillar, and the pillar is built such that it looks like there are carved centipedes crawling up it.
Mm. We don't see any other
So
movement.
No, all you realize is that the green light is flickering, and it's sort of casting shadows on the wall, and it looks like there could be other figures in the room, but it's hard to tell from this vantage point. What was Zeno's
so that was a
attack roll?
14 to hit, and Zeno wants to try to ridge hand this guy, like right in the throat, incapacitating damage. I don't want to kill him.
Okay. How much damage?
That's a 14. Does that hit?
Oh yeah, that hits.
All right, that is going to be 5 points of damage.
He passes out, falls right to the ground. Just slumps right down.
All right, I'm going to go just not step in the doorway, but look to see if I can get a better view of what's going on in there. See if there's another guy.
So you're actually getting the vantage point from the other side. So Leonise is sort of looking in the lower western side of the room, and you're actually looking sort of at the lower eastern side. Or sorry, yeah, eastern side. And you see basically what Leonise saw. You see a big brazier that has green flames coming out of it, and you see a pillar that looks like it has carved centipedes going up it. Not caterpillars, centipedes going up it. And you also, because the door is fully open and you can kind of get a bigger sweep of the room, you see a statue on the back wall that looks very similar to that statue that you all saw in the temple that you were in. Okay. With it's the elf, very lithe, skinny elf, and they're holding a straight edge scythe. Okay, very well dressed. Okay, that Jake told you was often the way that Narrheit is depicted as a mortal form, right? Narheit's a god, so right, he could theoretically look like whatever he wants to look like, but that's how he's normally depicted in as a mortal. Okay, that's, you see that statue. It's life size. It's not big, but there are also two other statues in there. One of the statues is there's one in each far corner of the room, and one of them is both of them. They look kind of like almost devilish. They have wings and 4 clawed arms and goat-like legs. But the heads of these two statues have been broken off and they're on the ground. There's also an altar towards the far end in front of the statue of Narrheit. And in the middle of this room is an enormous pit. It's about 30 feet wide.
Okay.
And you also see several figures. 2 of them are by the altar. 2 of them are around the pit. And a couple of them are... There's 2 standing sort of in front of those pillars, but they're looking the opposite way.
As soon as that guy went down, I see there's light coming in from outside, I'm going to put out my torch.
Okay. Okay. So the torch is
do the people inside notice us?
They do not appear to be doing anything. They're all busy.
All right, I'm gonna gently shut the door again, but not all the way. I'm gonna leave it open with maybe my foot stuck in between there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna signal back to everyone else how many people I saw.
How many do you signal back that you saw?
It's a good question. How many?
You saw 6. 2 by the pit, 2 by the altar, 1 by each of the 2 pillars.
He's very wise, not very bright.
So, they don't appear to be doing anything other than whatever their tasks are, so we're not rolling initiative because they don't appear to be paying attention to you.
The Leonese will come up and say, quietly open the door and I'll cast. I can maybe put most of them to sleep.
We just need to be prepared, because if it fails, then we'll have to be ready, because then they will know we're here.
Yeah, I'm not
So
worried about it.
be prepared.
Yeah.
We got Durndale on our side.
Well, I'll be right behind you to help you and Durandal.
And Mordain.
Okay. Go for it.
So what's your plan?
So I'm going to open the door, and then I'm going to cast Sleep.
Okay, what's the range on your sleep spell?
Hang on. What the hell have I got in my book? It's quite a range.
I think it's like 60 or 120, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Helps if I have my book with me. I can never remember.
150.
150.
150, okay.
Yep.
Rickman falls asleep.
But it is. As long as they're not. It's 2d4 hit die of creatures.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that.
4. Oh. 4 hit die worth of creatures.
Okay. So I think that's going to be the closest 4. So the 2 that are by the altar do not get hit. The other 4 fall down and go to sleep. 2 of them were right next to that pit, though.
Oops.
Yes.
And one of them just kind of, when he collapses, he just slides into the pit. But at that point, that's when the 2 people next to the altar realize something is happening and look up. Who's disturbing our preparations? And now we roll initiative.
Get him!
I rolled a 9.
Wow. It's going to be tough.
Oh.
I rolled a 10.
All right. So,
Which is
I rolled a 3.
right, so we're doing group initiative, so I think that 10 wins. The one time I rolled a good initiative.
That's right.
That sounds like that. I'll just roll it because we'll. Oh.
All right, so your turn. What are you all doing? So let's put a map on here. Let me draw here. That's the pit. That's the altar.
Wow, big pit.
Yeah, it's enormous. It
30
probably
foot.
should be a little bit farther, but that's okay. That's the brazier. That's a brazier. That's a brazier.
Okay.
That's a brazier. The statue of Narrheit is right here.
That's pretty far away from the pit to jump it into.
Yeah. The other 2 statues are right here. The statues of the devils with no heads.
Oh, that's right.
Hmm.
And so let me put some people on here. Oh, stop it. That person fell into the pit.
Yay. One down.
Yes.
How deep is the pit?
You have no idea. Nobody's been close
Okay.
enough. I do need to draw the pillars, which are not on here. So I'm actually... Oh, whoops. I'm going to... That was the wrong button. I'm going to move this pit because it's supposed to be up here, because there's got to be room for the pillars.
When that one fine gentleman slid into the pit, did we hear a thud of him hitting the bottom?
You did not. This guy was here. This guy is here. These are the pillars right here.
So are we attempting to disable them, or are we going to eliminate them?
I'm in favor of eliminating.
I think there's we've got one incapacitated. We've got 4 that are asleep. I'm in favour of eliminating the two remainder ones.
Because this will be the first people we actually have encountered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if they're evil and we should kill them. I don't want to be the bad guys.
So, does one of that? So it looks like we have basically 5 acolytes. I guess one's gone from the pit, and something looks more senior.
It appears so. He's actually wearing slightly darker robes, and he does have a necklace on that has a talisman on it. You can't really see what it is from here, but it looks like it's made of gold.
Okay, well, he's clearly different from the others.
He's clearly different from the others.
Okay.
Does he look like the description of Horus that we have?
The what?
Was it Horus was the one who got run out of town?
Yeah, this guy looks really old, and Horus was, to your knowledge, like in his 20s. He wasn't actually old.
Okay, cool.
Well, Horus was a wizard.
Yeah, but he was a wizard.
Wizards can wear robes? They have robes that nobody in their priests. I mean, not all dwarves dig in the dirt or in rocks. Oh, they're racists. Sorry. The cleric is not determined by his robe. Look at Jake, you don't wear no robes.
So, you won initiative, so what would you like to do?
Glenn uses casting.
Reckon will allow the party of the group to run in first. And then you follow behind.
Jake will be moving into the room as well.
I mean, I'm going to charge in and try to get someone.
So who's still awake? One guy way in the back? Or?
The 2 guys at the back by the altar.
Yep. So let me put some...
Yeah.
I'll put a blue ring around these guys because they are asleep.
Do we have both doors open now, or is it just still the one door?
I believe you opened both doors, right?
That's why I'm asking, because I don't know.
I think so.
Didn't know if the other one had a separate locking mechanism on it or something.
No, I believe that he opened it, and then that's when Leonese cast.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
When Zeno gets up to the edge of the pit, does it look like I can easily traverse around the side?
Yeah.
Ledge right there?
Yeah, so there's 5 feet around the edge there on the east and west. These squares are 5-foot squares. And if you look down the pit, you do not see a bottom to that pit.
All right, I'm gonna double move so I can end up right behind this guy.
I'll do a double move as well, so as
Okay.
far as I can get. Let me see, how's the distance? Ooh, I can attempt a slingshot at him.
Okay, so who's first? Who's going first?
Everyone's moved.
Yeah.
Leonese will cast magic missile at the guy in the ropes.
Okay.
4 points of damage.
Yeah, I ran up there. Can I throw a hand axe or not?
How far are you from it? I think a hand axe is what?
I am
20
5
foot
feet
range?
from him. 10 feet, actually.
Yeah, I think you can throw that.
Okay.
You're throwing
I
it
will
at
throw my
the guy who's in the other robes?
I'm throwing at the same one that Zeno is charged up on.
Okay.
Because I don't think I could throw it. I don't think I have a clear shot at the other guy. Unless that statue isn't in the way.
It's actually the altar.
Yeah, that green triangle or rectangle is the altar.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll throw at the other guy then. I was assuming he was behind something we didn't have a shot at him. So yeah, definitely try to take him out. That would be an 18 to hit.
That's going to hit. How much damage?
7 points.
Ooh, ouch. Okay, who's next?
I think all we got left is Jake, because I've double moved.
I can probably just get to there.
Okay, no casting?
No.
Okay. So this guy here, number 5, who is in front of Zeno, is going to turn and engage with Zeno, and he pulls out a long dagger-looking type weapon, and that's going to be an 18 to hit. Which,
That barely hits me.
okay. And so you're going to take 4 damage.
Eno is bleeding profusely from a gash across the chest.
And this wizard who has been gravely injured raises his hands and he starts uttering something, and Leonese recognizes it as a sleep spell.
Yeah.
And so that means
Ooh. Can he cast because he's been hit?
He can.
Ah.
He has special powers. Ooh. So that means that Zeno. Does Zeno's monk class give him any kind of protection against his sleep?
Let's see here. Iron Body, +1 to save versus disease, poison, paralyzed, polymorph, petrification, and death.
Okay.
That's it.
So no. So Zeno goes to sleep. Bernie also goes to sleep. I'll put a blue ring around these two. But no one else gets hit.
Okay.
And he looks at the person next to him and he says, "Go wake up those other fools." And this guy steps over Bernie, goes to about right here. And then we roll initiative again. I rolled a 3.
You can do it.
Who's going to roll?
I think someone that was awake would.
Okay. Well, you might regret this, but here you go. 5.
Okay, you still win. So Rekmit and Jake, you're closest to Zeno and Bernie if you wanted to go try to wake them up, or if you want to do something else. The cultist, or the person in the robes, we'll consider them cultists, right in front of Rekmit is asleep. The two to the left and right of Jake are asleep. The one that is at the feet of Leonise has been knocked out. He's not magically asleep. He's just been knocked out.
So Jake is going to move over and kill the one closest to him.
So number 2. Okay.
2.
Okay. Roll me an attack roll. Just make sure you don't roll a 1.
All right. Three. I did not roll a 1.
Okay, so
that was the slowest I rolled.
You cut his throat. Are you going to try to throw him down the pit, or are you just going to leave him there?
Leave him there.
Okay. That was Jake. Rekmit, what are you doing? Leonise, what are you doing?
Rekmit is going to, like he's trying to get over this guy and accidentally push him into the pit.
Okay.
Make an accident, but he's going to try to just toss him in the pit.
You can easily throw him into the pit if you want to make that your action.
Yep, I'll make that my action. I'll roll him over the edge.
Okay.
And go, oh, oops.
He's gone.
Leonise is going to shoot a bow at
Okay.
the wizard.
Okay.
Nice.
Ah, thought it was going to be a 20. It was a 2. Close.
Yeah, that's going to miss. All right. So this poor fellow who was going to come over and wake up his friend is stuck. He's going to come up and engage with Jake. So he is going to roll a 13. That's a 14 versus Jake's AC, which I think is
14.
higher. Oh, so he hits just barely. You're going to take 6 damage.
Oh, ouch.
All right.
The caster pulls out a scroll out of his pocket, and he starts reading from it. I just have to look something up here. And as he finishes casting, this one here that was deceased just a moment ago because Jake cut his throat.
Oh, really?
Actually stands up. He sort of wakes up and stands up. And Jake, you see that the wound that you created when you cut his throat, it's not healed. He has not been brought back to life, but he is now acting as if he was. And he will get an action next round if you all don't destroy him. So let's roll initiative again. I rolled a 4.
Come on, Jake.
Jake, roll initiative.
A 1.
A 1. Okay. So this is bad.
She's bad.
So these two individuals are going to attack Jake. One of them I rolled a 2. One of them I rolled an 8. So neither one of those is going to hit. So Jake got a little bit lucky. And this guy who cast the spell is going to move over here. And you see him looking for something, but he doesn't seem to cast anything or do anything. He just seems to be looking through his possessions for something. And then it is your turn.
Tricky.
Zeno and Bernie are still asleep.
Yeah.
There are two individuals standing in front of Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the fact that leave the caster, but Leonese will come over.
So, go ahead.
An attack. This is going to be the one that is dead with her staff.
Okay.
Oh, actually, she won't. All right, she will shoot. He's not engaged, right? So she will shoot at him.
Jake is engaged with both of them.
Oh, is Jake? Okay.
So you can still shoot, just don't roll a 2.
Just don't roll it.
A
I
1
rolled
or
a
2.
2 last time. Well, I guess last time I rolled a 2. No, I'll come and strike with the staff. Jake is injured. That's what her job was. 3.
That misses, but it does not hit Jake. Rekmit, what are you doing?
So she was up there with the staff.
I'm moving half my distance.
Because you moved over, yeah.
And I'm going to use my sling and try and hit the dude up that's doing whatever he's doing up in the corner.
Okay. And Jake, what are you going to be doing?
13.
That 13 hits. Roll me some damage.
That would be 3 points.
Okay. He does not fall down. Jake?
Is that everybody has more hit points.
Only this guy.
So,
yeah.
No one else is near the two guys.
So there's two people in front of you, and Leonese is basically right next to you.
So, how would this work? If I moved back here, could I cast a spell at those two? Move them past, or would they get attacks of opportunity?
They're going to get attacks of opportunity if you move away from them.
All right.
Turn.
You could move with the stage, right? But they wouldn't be able to cast.
Yeah, you could actually move away without gathering an attack, without getting an attack, but you would have to use your action as the disengage.
All right.
Just want to make it right. That was
So,
Yeah, it's a fighting withdraw.
Yeah.
yeah. I am going to drop a sound burst up on the wizard.
Okay. What's that going to do to him?
It's going to do 1d8 points of damage. A loud thunderclap will evoke from that area, and he has to make a wisdom saving throw or be stunned for 1 round.
Okay.
And my hopes is that while he gets 1d8 points of damage and stunned, that it will wake up my comrades as well. It may wake up everybody, but...
What's its radius?
10-foot radius. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, 10-foot radius, 20-foot diameter.
If you drop it in front of him, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to keep them out of the range and hoping that, it buys us some time.
Well, so you can't simultaneously keep them out of the range and have it wake them up.
I'm sorry?
You can't at the same time keep them out of range and then also have it wake them up. If they're out of range, it won't wake them up.
Well, I was thinking the loud clap of thunder.
Mm-hmm.
But if you choose that would be a normal noise, that they would continue to sleep then.
I mean, sleep is magical slumber, so, like, the
I know.
noise doesn't really wake them up.
Right.
So...
Okay. I'm still going to drop that on the wizard, so that way we're not attacked with any more spells.
Yeah, so what's his... he's got to make a wisdom?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No, he failed. So what does he take? 1d8?
6. 6 points.
6 points. Oh, yeah. He falls down. Just collapses.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I knew I couldn't get to our teammates and get them awake in this round.
So we can keep Jake alive.
Yeah, so, I think that's the last of you, right? Or did Rekmit actually go?
Rekmit went. Yeah, because I hit him with a sword.
Oh, yeah.
I moved up. Excellent.
So roll initiative again. I rolled a 4 again.
Who's got it this time?
It's a 6. Nope, it's a 4. It's a 4.
Okay, roll again.
It was on the border, and it just flipped.
Yeah, that's fine. Roll again. I rolled a 3.
Hold on. Four.
Ooh,
Okay, so you win.
lucky.
What would you like to do?
I will do a fighting withdrawal.
Okay. Okay, so you can actually move. I think you get your full movement, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fighting withdrawals half.
Oh, yep, 1/2, right there.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So you get away. You just can't get very far. Okay. Lenice, Rekmit. Your
What hole is that at?
comrades are still asleep.
How tall is that altar?
It's probably about 5 feet off the ground.
Okay. I was going to try and do some neat. Well, I'll say what I want to try and do. Essentially, I want to run up onto the altar, leap off of it, and lay out and try and like suplex both of them or land on both of them. Try to wake up by falling on them. If I can't do that, I'll just run over there and jump in the air and trip and fall onto both of them and see if I can wake both of them up by falling on them.
Why don't you make me a dexterity siege check and hope that you don't fall into the never-ending pit?
Dexterity?
Yep.
16.
Okay. So you go running and you jump and you're able to land in a way that you are touching both of them and it wakes them up. So Bernie and Zeno, you are awakened by a dwarf landing on you out of nowhere. You can take
what are you doing?
You can take your turn this turn, but you're laying on the ground, so you'll have to stand up first.
You're taking a nap on the job. Get moving.
Get moving. So Luanese will step into.
Well, I want my pay if that's where I'm going to get treated. And I'll grab my axe and stand up.
Help.
Luanese will step in and attack the undeadish one. Okay. 19.
How much?
19 to hit.
That hits.
Which is my hit. And 4 points of damage.
Okay, it falls down again. But when you hit it with your staff, it's kind of spongy and gross. It's not really like living flesh.
I was actually hitting the undead one.
Yeah.
Number 5.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of spongy and gross. It's not really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's kind of disgusting. Okay, so that was Leonise. Jake.
Oh.
What about Zeno and Bernie? What are you doing?
I said I'm going to grab my axe and stand up.
Okay. Zeno?
Zeno's going to stand up also. Can we move, or is the whole action standing up?
You can make a half movement, but you can't attack if you do so.
Okay.
I'm going to half move toward the two guys after I stand up.
Okay. Bernie, are you going to move? Yeah? Okay. All right, so initiative. I rolled a 5.
It's a 1d6?
D10.
10, I'll roll it.
Okay.
That is a 2.
Okay. These two individuals are stuck. They're going to try to run around this way, but this means that Leonise gets an attack.
They could jump in the pit.
I don't think they want to do that. If Leonise wants to attack them, you can roll an attack roll.
So, for one, against both of them?
Sure.
All right, the first one misses. Well, second one's an 11. Yeah, an 11, I'm sure misses.
Yeah, that misses. Okay, so they run, let's see. They can make it almost to the door. So they're kind of here. Actually, they're going to run, so they will actually run through the door. They won't get very much farther than that, especially the one that was kind of raised.
So is that a ×3 distance?
No, the one. I mean, it would be, yes. Running would be ×4, right? But they kind of didn't. They're a little bit tentative with it, almost like they don't really want to run away. But eventually it got the better of them, and they kind of ran. They just didn't run very far. There is still one asleep over by the column there, and then there's the wizard that was up in the front up there who got knocked down.
Is the other a zombie?
There's only one of those. He ran away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he should be further behind, right? Or
yeah,
no?
He's the one farthest back.
Okay.
He's number 5 here. Or actually, it was number 2, so let me switch them. There you go. So I think it's initiative again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you lost
No,
that time,
it's
so
our
you
turn.
get to take
Yeah.
your turns. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Oh, perfect.
So what would you like to do?
Alini's will fire a bow. Sure. She'll fire at the undead one back. Ooh,
Okay.
look, 20. That was
Okay.
nice.
Roll some damage.
So she's 20. Great. Damage. Get me. Oh. So 1 point of damage on the one that was raised.
That actually kills it again.
Again.
So it
Die! Stay down!
falls down.
And Leonie's will then move.
I'm going to charge up there, axe in hand, and hit that thing.
What's Blip been doing this whole time?
And that would be a natural 20 for a total of, 25?
Which one are you hitting? Number 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So roll me some damage.
So that would be for a total of 13 points of damage.
Yeah. Takes him out. He's gone. You cut him in half. Ran up there and just sliced him in half.
There's one left.
There is there are 2 sleeping ones. This one here, number 3, is asleep from the very initial Leonice's sleep spell, and this one, number 1 here, got throat punched by Zeno, and is
So number 2 is the only one still up.
No, he's dead.
He's
2 is
he's
dead?
but he was undead, so you're unsure if he will rise again.
Well, I don't know whether he will or he won't, but I'll drag him over to the pit, sever the head from the body, and throw the head and the body into the pit.
Okay.
Well, while you're taking all the time to that, go check out the wizard dude up here, see if he's actually done for or just.
I'll kill number 3.
Okay.
And I really hope we're not finishing the ritual by feeding these things into the pit. These people.
And
Yeah,
Leonie
I'm not
will
gonna
go
Yeah,
kill
and
that's what I was thinking too. As soon as Samuel said, "Do you want to Jake? Do you want to throw him in the pit?" I was like, "No, Jake, don't throw him." And then he doesn't throw him, and he comes back to life.
Leonese will come and tie up number 1.
Okay. Jake, you killed number 2 or number 3?
Yes.
Are you putting him in the pit or are you leaving him there?
Leaving him there.
Okay. And you're tying up number 1. Okay.
Yep.
Rekmit, the wizard is dead. You see in his hand is an empty potion bottle.
Right, I'm gonna rifle the body.
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna rifle that body. You said he had like a necklace or something, right?
He has a necklace. It's a gold necklace with a very thick chain, and at the end of it is a symbol of Narrheit.
Okay, it's like that ram's head thing again.
It's the 2 infinity symbols.
Oh, okay.
190-degree offset.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he have anything else?
Yeah, almost like a 4-leaf clover.
We should search this place.
So Zeno is going to fall to one knee because he's still bleeding out from the chest.
Yeah, Zeno is having a bad time of it. By the way,
Hey, Zeno, you want me to put a bandage on that?
Blip sort of taps Leonice on the shoulder and points at the pit and says, "They're coming.
Who's coming?
The pets.
Oh, crap.
You can hear them. You can sense them.
I feel them coming. They're trampling each other to get up here.
Leanies will call out. Think centipedes are coming?
Zeno starts exiting the room.
Rick,
Yeah.
the only other thing on the body of that wizard is what looks to be a ceremonial dagger, and inset into the dagger is a symbol of Narrheit in the handle.
Okay, I'll grab that and the necklace and all get the heck out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone's exiting. Is that the sense I'm getting?
It would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. How far are you going?
So once we're all outside the door, I don't know if we should shut it because it might magically seal again. But since everybody's dead, probably not. But we could, peek inside and see what comes out, and then just try to bar the door and fight them on our terms.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, does anybody have any oil?
Yes.
All right, we could see if we could prepare some oil, light it if centipedes come.
Yeah, I've got 2 flasks of oil too.
The other thing we could do is retreat back to the secret door room with the prison thing. We could put the oil in the pit and try and force them into that pit.
It's true. We do that too.
Or just close the doors,
if they can,
open the pit, go in there, go through the secret door, and go somewhere else.
That's possible.
if they're climbing up out of this pit, that means they can climb out of that little pit. But if it's burning, that'd be great. That's a good idea.
They could climb out. They can climb out, but we can do damage with oil and flame.
All right, so plan of attack is we head back to Bert and throw a bunch of oil in the pit, and somebody leaves the door open and acts as a bait.
Why are we throwing the oil in the pit?
When they come in and try... Go ahead, Bernie.
I mean, I don't see any reason to try to fight them because there's no exits we saw in that room. So going back, so that room doesn't really lead anywhere that I can see. So why don't we close these doors, go through those doors, close them, and if somehow they breach the doors, then we can throw the oil in the pit and toss in the flame and make a stand there, or just if they can't get in, they can't get in.
I think the only reason to go back in would be to loot it. If there was anything else in there, we didn't.
That's
Yeah.
As well as the secret doors, but we don't have to do that right now.
Right.
We could still go through that other secret door where we have the trap door. But I would prefer to...
in the ceiling, right?
Yeah, the trap door in the ceiling and the secret door.
There is, but we'd like some time. But we could loot this room, see what else there is.
All right, so is everybody good with shutting the doors and maybe hammering some pythons in there so they can't get out?
I am.
I can agree with that as for now.
All right, so I think we're going to exit the room, maybe leave Jake in there if he doesn't move. And then number 3 is still sleeping in there, so we can come in later and see if they ate him.
No.
And we'll shut the doors
He got
and hammer
killed.
some pythons in there.
They killed him.
Oh, he did get
Jake
killed?
killed him, yeah.
Yeah.
Hammer some pythons in the floor. I've got a couple pythons and a hammer to pin the door so they can't hopefully push it open.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how many spikes would you like to put into the door?
How many do you guys think? I have 10.
I got
Well,
about
I
two.
would, if we can put them in to the floor where they stick up,
Mhm.
that would probably be the best way. Get them right by the door and just drive them right into the stone.
Right.
How many?
Do like 2 on each door.
A couple on each.
Yeah, sounds good. We're going to hammer 4 into the floor.
Okay.
Leonese will help you. She's actually got a. She'll take 2 of hers and do it. So she'll do one door while you do one.
Okay. Are
And
you
then
barring the door
once that's
any other
done-
way? Because the door opens into the room that you're in.
Right.
Right.
So
we
these
could
pythons are inside the door at the base,
Right. Mm-hmm.
so they would block the door being opened.
Right. I'm just asking if you do anything else other than the pythons. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Do these dwarven statues look like we might be able to move one over in front of the door?
They're pretty hefty, but you might be able to. It would take at least 2 of you attempting that.
Well, I'll give it a try if someone else wants to.
Yeah, Zeno's pretty weak, but he'll use his last reserve of strength, as long as Requint's not watching, to try to block the door with one of these statues.
I've been in the room, so I can't say nothing.
What's your combined strength?
I'm 18.
Zeno has a strength of 13.
Okay. The two of
I could assist.
What's your strength, Jake?
16.
Okay, yeah. So the 3 of you can sort of manhandle that statue. But the base doesn't really move, so the best you can do is actually knock the thing over so that part of it falls in front of the door. It's actually...
Okay. Does that block both of them or just one of them?
That'll block one of them, so you'll have to do that to the two of the statues in the corner. Because the base of the statue is built right out of the ground. So the best you can do is push it and have it break at the weakest point to fall over.
Okay. We'll do that.
You gonna do it twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so lots of exertion. Rekmit probably hears some tumbling stones from the other room. And now it's 8:30, so it's about halfway through the session, so I want to try to get in a habit of us taking a 10-minute break or a 5 or 10-minute break in the middle of the session, just so that we can stand up, get refreshed, get a new drink, whatever. So let's do that now. And assuming that you are moving those dwarven statues and putting the pythons and everything into the door, and then when we come back, you'll be done with those activities. Okay?
Excellent.
All right, so we will be right back.
Perfect.
All right, hello everybody. We are back from the break, and we are here to have a game with you. So, the group just ended up putting some pythons into the floor to block the door, and also toppling a couple of dwarven statues in order to make it so that the doors cannot be opened.
Leonese would have dragged the acolyte or whatever he is back with them. He's bound.
Okay. Good to know. So you
I
are
think,
with the acolyte.
I think Jake healed me. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
You,
By
sir?
how much?
4.
Okay. So Zeno, you're still hurt, right?
I am still hurt. The wound has sealed on my chest, but it is still raw. Still in a weakened state. But I'm going to stay by the door to make sure that nothing slams through.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to stand right here.
Yeah. Jake got pretty damaged that fight too, right?
Yeah.
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 Doctor, heal thyself.
That's
Did you heal me before you healed yourself?
well, yeah. I'm a cleric of Durndale. It's what we do.
That's a good cleric right there.
So you now have blocked off that set of doors. What would you like to do? Are you going to do anything special? What are your plans?
Well, soon somebody comes in that room after that noise and asks, what was that big noise, that ruckus in there?
You immediately see 2 statues toppled in front of the door.
We wanted to make sure they couldn't get in here.
And where were you proposing to put the oil?
We'll throw it here in
the pit.
between the
So
room with the
what's
statues and the room with the torture chamber.
so in the room that we're all in?
Yeah,
Pit?
Yeah, we got 2 exits. We got a secret door and a trap door.
So
yeah.
why would we put the oil in the pit, thinking our enemies would go into the pit?
Well, the pit is here in this hallway, and if they're going to rush in, they're going to have to go through that area, and that would contain the fire and be kind of a natural place we could just push them in and let them burn up.
Oh. I thought we would have put the oil on that 1-foot ledge.
Well, they're not going to get over a 1-foot ledge. They'll end up in the pit. They may be able to climb over the walls, but if they just run in, right, we've reset the pit trap.
Oh.
We had the mechanism to reset it, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you had Bert sort of set it back up, reset it so that it doesn't look like it's a triggered trap.
Okay.
So you could trigger it, put some oil in, have
Yep.
torches ready, reset it, and then when they come in and go over. I'm hoping they're not intelligent creatures that remember there was a pit trap here some previous time. No.
Right. That's.
But hey,
So
Right.
does Zeno see any? Does Zeno see anything smashing against the door or hear anything?
So it took a few minutes for you to topple those statues and to put the pythons in and all that stuff. And in that time, you do hear quite a few, the sound of crawling creatures crawling close to the door. You have not felt anything like slam into the door.
All right, so I'll look in the other room, and I think it's going to hold. And I'll come across and go over to Rekmit, and I'm sorry, my friend, but we had to push the statues over to block the door. Your ancestors have protected us even in death.
Well, technically they weren't dead. They're stone carvings. But I appreciate the sentiment.
Their representations protected us.
And then I go to open the secret door.
Okay. So you're going to move the cage out of the way then?
If we need to, yeah.
Yeah, it's being blocked by the cage. So.
Well, we left Bert in here. Was he able to get the door open and maybe do that?
Sure, we can say that he moved the cage. That would have been no problem for him. Yeah, sure. So you can open that secret door. Just looking for a piece of paper that I had some notes on. Hold on one second.
So while we're waiting, I'm going to go back and shut the doors. Shut both sets of doors.
Okay, so
to get into us.
Did you pour the oil into the pit trap, the 20-foot deep pit
Yes.
trap?
No.
Oh, I thought we'd open the pit trap and put the oil in. Okay.
Well, I thought we were going to wait and see if we needed to.
Okay.
Yeah. The door seems like it's holding.
Okay. So I don't have any oil anyway. Okay.
Okay, so, the secret door opens, and, you see stretching out in front of you a hallway that is roughly 80 or 90 feet long. It's 10 feet wide. And it has thick dust and cobwebs. When you open the secret door and you sort of just look, it's a very dark place, but if you ignite a light source, you'll see that there are cobwebs all over the hallway. And
excellent.
A thick layer of dust on the ground.
Denise, can you send your fairy friend down the hallway to see if he can find anything?
So the cobwebs aren't very thick.
Nope.
They're just decorations.
They're just normal cobwebs?
They look like normal cobwebs, yes.
I would have lit a torch again, or lit my torch again.
Okay. Leonise, are you going to ask Blip to go into the
Yes.
hallway? Okay.
Yes, sorry. I was looking at something. So Leonise will turn to Blip and say, looks like this hasn't been used before. Do you want to go down and see what you can see?
Sure.
I can only see so far.
I'll be right back. And he sort of flies off into the darkness. Comes back about 3 or 4 minutes later. Says it goes about 80-something feet or so, and then it turns to the right.
No sign of anything in there?
Nope. Doesn't look like anybody's used this for a really long time. I didn't even know it was here. I've been in that cage for so long.
Looks like it was very old.
Looks like it.
We want to go down the trap door, down the secret door, or up the trap door? What do we want to do first?
So the secret door is probably no threat, right? Because it hasn't been used for so long.
Right. Does it turn to the right or the left?
It turns
to the right.
To the right.
So that would take us back into the altar room,
Potentially take us
Yeah.
back into the altar room.
which could potentially be bad if it does.
Which potentially could bring the centipedes right to us.
Right. That's the potentially bad. If there's a secret door that we didn't pick up on.
Well, but question is, would centipedes be able to open a secret door?
Right. I would probably think not.
Which I doubt.
And-
Right.
And they told us that there were centipedes?
We heard insect skittering.
Yeah, you heard the sound of mini legs. So,
And Blip said those were the pets.
mhm.
Okay.
By now you've been in this, because in the cavern you heard that sort of skittering as well. So the sound is pretty familiar to you at this point.
Okay.
So Linny's
We'll
will
definitely go check it out, and just if we get to a door that we think is going to open into that chamber, let's don't open it, and then we'll come back and check out the trap door.
All right.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure.
Someone...
How many people
Go ahead.
do we have to crawl through the secret door? Is it that small or?
No, once it's opened, it's the size of a regular single door. The
Okay.
hallway...
Yeah, so
the
we could
hallway
run
is-
back.
Sorry, the hallway is about 10 feet tall and it's 10 feet wide. So it's a pretty...
Pretty standard.
Yeah. So someone make me a roll for Bert. Because you would send him forward to check for traps and whatnot, I'm assuming.
There you go.
Bird is, yep, there are no traps.
No traps whatsoever. No traps. Okay, so you want to give me a marching order and whether you're going one abreast or two abreast.
I said I'd take the lead.
I think we should probably go one abreast.
You could kind of stagger.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's after Bernie?
Leonise has a pole, right?
Linny's does in fact have a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
Do you want to go second? And then Zeno will go third?
Yeah, I was wondering whether Linny should go in the front, or whoever's in the front use a 10-foot pole. Either way.
That works too.
I'll go after Leonise.
Okay.
And Linny's will be looking up at the ceiling and on the walls.
Okay.
Bernie, do you need a torch?
I've got one.
Okay, all right. In that case, I was just wondering.
Thank
Oh,
you.
what are we doing with Temple Guy that was subdued?
He's tied up in the corner of the room.
We put him in the cage.
Oh, we could put him in the cage. Oh, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Poetic justice.
Blip thinks that's really funny.
He's in the cage.
Yeah.
So we moved the cage, right? But
Yeah, you moved it, but but it's still in that same room. Okay, so Bernie, Leonise, Jake, and then who's next?
Recommend. Do you want to go last, or you want me to go last?
I do not want to go last.
Okay.
Zeno will go last.
Okay.
I am best effective to help people if they're in front and behind me.
So Bernie, please give me a wisdom siege check.
Okay. It froze on me. What do I need to roll?
Just a D20 and add your wisdom modifier if you have one, but don't add your level.
Okay. And that'll be that'll be an 11. Do I get my prime bonus?
Yeah, so I just reduced your challenge. So you have to roll a 12 because you're prime, rather than rolling an 18. But yes,
Oh, okay.
you do get it. So as you're walking down this hall, you actually trigger a pit trap in the middle of the hall, about 40 feet down. It's pretty much right in the middle of the hall.
Okay.
And you don't fall in, but the trap triggers, and the trap doesn't leave any room on the sides. It literally makes the entirety of the floor for 10 feet fall away down into a 20-foot pit.
Well, good thing we didn't step in it.
It is indeed.
Can thank the 10-foot pole, because otherwise you wouldn't have even gotten a roll.
Well, I'm going to jump across and keep going.
You said about 40 foot.
Can we get the boards that we put across the other pit and bring them in here and put it across this one?
Good.
Yep.
Which boards were those?
Well, this is like a, oh no, it's a 10 foot.
Yeah.
So I thought we put some boards across the first pit to make it across.
No, we didn't. We talked about, we asked about it, but there were slate shelves, but they weren't sturdy enough to walk on.
Yeah.
So we just went around
Got
the
it.
edges.
Is there any of the furniture in the torture room? Isn't there a table right here in the
There's
middle?
a table right in the middle.
It's made of stone, though.
Oh, it's a stone table. Oh, I do.
Samuel
Sorry.
keeps wording us every idea we have.
Damn it, damn dwarves. Already using wood.
And there's no ledge around this pit?
There is not. It's like
All the doors made of? Are all the doors made of stone also?
No. I believe the front entryway doors and the side doors. So these, let me get the pointer. These doors right here, I think, were wooden, and the doors to get you into this place were wooden. Those might have been stone, but these I think are wooden.
So I'm gonna.
Say that again.
How far across is the pit?
10 feet.
10 feet, yeah.
Anyone want to toss a dwarf?
Sure.
See, so you need a hobbit.
What's
We have a person out here to.
Oh, but wait. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's not here to complain.
No, that's not the way to do it. I don't mind being tossed. Just tie me a rope off on me just in case I fall.
Okay. I'll throw him.
Okay.
Do you want help with that?
Well, I'd have to have so whoever goes across, they'd have to have a rope with them when we
Sure.
put
I mean,
some on the wall.
Yeah, do we have any ropes left? Because, we left ropes going out when we came in.
Yeah, I think that was just one rope. I've got 50 feet of rope.
Okay.
Yep, I did use mine.
So, yeah, if someone wants to help me, I'll grab one arm, one leg, grab the other one, and we'll...
Unless you guys just help
Right.
boost me over and I jump and run, but I'm not real strong. But whichever way works better.
I'm gonna mark off my rope that we left it on the entrance, unless that was somebody else's rope.
I used mine, so I think you're good.
Okay.
How deep is the pit, by the way?
It's
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet deep. No spikes at the bottom?
It does not appear so.
We could just go down, climb up.
That's true. But it'd be much more fun to throw the dwarf.
That is true.
Oh, wait.
That is true. We'll just throw the dwarf.
Awesome.
So who's throwing him? Bernie, and is somebody helping?
Jake.
Bernie and Jake. All right. Give me a strength roll, both of you, and don't roll a 1.
Okay.
And Leonise
That would
and
be-
Bert are holding the rope.
That would be a 17 in its prime.
Okay.
Oh, I thought somebody rolled a 1 then. It looked like Jake rolled a 1. Oh, no.
I got a total of 13, and I'm
Okay. All right. So you pretty easily throw the dwarf across, and so whose rope did you tie to him?
That was mine.
Okay. And now what? Are you going to hold the rope and just have people crawl over, or what's your plan now?
That was my plan. I'm over.
Yeah, if he can hold that in, I can hold this in.
Okay. And
Well, we could hammer this end in,
Well,
so into the wall and pitons, so that it's secured.
So can we get Bert to look for any mechanism on our side and have the dwarf check for a mechanism on our side?
No, could do that too.
So
Yeah, we could
so
do
the
that.
thing is that when it triggered, the whole thing collapsed down. It's not like it swung open like the pit in
Oh.
the smaller hallway. It
Okay.
just literally collapsed down to the ground.
Got it. Broken.
Yeah,
Right.
it's broken.
Wow.
Right. So I suggest we go diagonally across pit. On the south side, we fasten the rope to the wall so we can all get across. And then who went across? Dwarf, right? They could hold it
Yeah.
and someone light go across, and then we kind of transfer one by one.
Or we just put a spike over here so I don't drop anybody.
Yeah. Right, we could spike both ends.
All right, so I will mark off 2 more spikes.
Okay.
And I will have handed my spikes and hammer, so we'll do 2 more spikes off the other side too.
Okay. Okay, so you can pretty securely make that rope be taut enough to get across, and if you take your time, you can all easily get across with no problem.
Okay, very good.
See, now we have a method to get across that river, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you continue to follow the hall, the passageway, and it does indeed turn to the right. And just like your picture, it extends about 20 feet, and then it's a dead end.
Okay. Well, let's start searching for secret traps, for secret doors.
Can you hear anything on the opposite side?
Well, I'll try and listen.
Okay, roll me a wisdom check.
And does this passage look well created, like by dwarves, or does it look like it's made by somebody else differently?
That is
Go ahead.
that's a 12. Or actually, I guess it should be. Is this with or without level?
This is with level.
Okay, it'd be a 13, and that is prime.
Okay. This passageway looks like it's the original dwarven construction, but there are some marks in the wall here and there that indicate that there have been others in here previously, but they did not create this passageway. The dwarves created this passageway. There is indeed a secret door here at the end.
Okay. Going at the end.
After the bend, after it turns to the right, it comes to a dead
Yeah.
end, and there's a door set in there.
Okay.
Now, would I be
Well,
able, on the distance we've gone, know that this would be leading back to that room, or would we not know that it looks like
We do have a dwarf, so we probably have a fairly good idea.
Yeah, Rekmit has a pretty good idea that it looks like it's going to be turning into that room. And if one of you is actually mapping with a piece of parchment, you can tell pretty obviously.
Did we hear anything?
No.
I suspect if we go through, we're going to find a body right on the other side, because I think this might have been what the wizard was trying to get into to escape.
Since we know that it goes back into the room with the centipedes, perhaps we should check the trap door first.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now we know where it goes.
Well, so is someone actually mapping, or are you just going by your instinct?
I'm not. I would not have that ability.
Leonese would.
Okay.
I'm mapping on Albert.
So Leonise, it doesn't reach all the way to that room. There is a gap there.
Ah.
Oh.
Leonese is going, this looks like a little short by my reckoning.
Well, do we want to try it?
Could be right. Just be careful.
Leonese will actually go and listen to the door too, with her elf senses.
Give me a listen check.
It's wisdom, right?
Correct.
+2. 10, and yeah. Second.
You don't hear anything.
What about our burglar?
Say that again.
I figured we left him. Figured we would leave him to guard the prisoner since he's not really here.
Yeah. I don't want to do too much with his PC because he's not earning experience for not being here, so we don't want to rely too much on his skill set if we're not going to give him experience.
He's guarding the prisoner.
So
Well, my vote is for the trap door, and we can come back to this one.
Well, I think there's something between here and the other room.
Well, tell Jake to scoot up then, so I can be ready.
So we've discovered the secret door. Do we just have to find the mechanism?
you
Oh, do we-
found a mechanism already. It's just that nobody has.
Oh, okay. Well, Leonese will check around, see if everybody is ready or if anybody has any objections, and if not, she'll open the door. With her staff ready.
Okay.
Okay, so you open the door, and it opens into this room, and on the southern wall here, oops, what happened here? On the southern wall, right here, there is another altar. So the room is a small rectangle. Okay, it's about 10 feet by 20 feet. And there is an altar on the southern wall that takes up the whole bottom half of the wall.
Now, is this room as dusty as the hallway, or is it clean?
It is
Or
pretty
relatively-
dusty. It is pretty dusty.
Okay.
And there's nothing else in it other than this altar, and sitting on top of the altar is a goblet. The altar is made of malachite, which is a green stone, and sitting on top of the altar is a goblet made of some kind of odd black material. And you can tell just from glancing at it that there's something carved into it, but you can't see exactly what it is unless you get closer.
Okay. Hey, Rackwind. Come on up. I think we may have some dwarf artifacts in here.
But Leonese will take her 10-foot pole and she'll prod through the doorway onto the floor and look up on the ceilings before she steps into the room.
Hold the torch out so we get some light in the room and maybe we can see a little bit more of it.
Leonese does not find anything in the room. Nothing triggers with the 10-foot pole.
So Leonese goes in and kind of like...
Yeah, I'll go in too.
Now that you're kind of more in the room and closer to this large altar, you can see that there is a 4-leaf clover symbol carved on the front of it. Sort of like 2 infinity symbols with one of them turned 90 degrees.
Bloody Narrheit gets everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think that's a dwarf thing.
Interesting. Leonese will be looking for secret doors, particularly on the eastern side. Which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and give me a roll for that?
Sure. That one.
I'm going to go up a
19.
little.
Would you want wisdom?
You do indeed find a secret door.
And presumably going into the altar room, right?
Correct. Based on your estimation and your map, that would be where Rekhmit or Zeno, one of them said, "Oh, I think there's a body on the other side." That's where you think the body is on the other side.
Yeah. Leonese will be talking to Jake. He said, "Jake, can you explain this? I don't understand. 2 temples? Or 2 altars?"
I would assume it's the High Cleric's room. Would that be correct? Samuel, can I make a check on that, or would I just know?
You suspect that the altar in the other room is ceremonial for the ritual, and this one is probably more of a worshipping altar for the high priest.
Yep.
And remember, there's a goblet on top of it. So.
Yeah, I think we kind of looking to make sure there's not any traps or anything with it as much as I can.
Yeah, Rekhmit will over and help look at it too.
And well, I don't think we should leave it here.
So, is this? I'm assuming this is not dusty in here.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the altar and the goblet that's on top of it is not, but the rest of the room is kind of, it's not all that well taken care of, so it's kind of dusty and it has cobwebs and whatnot, except for that wall.
Any footprints? Like compared to the tunnel we've just come down, which would look like it had not been used, does this look like it has been used?
Yeah, this has some footprints in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so they knew about the other secret door, but not this one necessarily.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with this goblet? I have holy water.
I still have holy water from our the last time. Or
What does
two
the
times.
what does the goblet look like? What do the inscriptions on it look like?
Are you getting close enough to really take a look at them?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The goblet is made of a strange black kind of chitinous material. And carved on it is an image of a man with his hand on his chin, a human man with his hand on his chin, kind of in a thoughtful pose. And then on the other side, so that's on one side, and on the other side, there's a picture of what looks like the same man with a kind of puzzled look on his face.
Jake, did either of these carved or symbols of this man give you any kind of indication of religious intent?
I take a look at them. Anything
Roll
noted?
me a wisdom check.
Okay. So that would be 12, right on it.
Okay. So two things strike you. The first one is that the black substance that the goblet seems to be made out of looks like the bill or the beak of an Afkarn.
Okay.
And you know that when there are ceremonies to worship Narrheit, high priests often use these kind of goblets made out of these Afkarn bills. And they call these cups abyssal canakin. And so when they do some high powered ceremonies, they always drink from abyssal canakin. And the other thing that you know is that in the stories about Narrheit, there is a set of items that were based on the history of Narrheit. Narrheit was captured by Unklar at some point during the Winter Dark, and basically tortured. And Unklar had all sorts of different creatures come and challenge Narrheit when Narrheit was imprisoned. And most people could not defeat Narrheit, but those that did took the tiniest piece of Narrheit's essence and left with it. And those things became known as the font of Narrheit. And where the fonts of Narrheit are, there's always a container of some sort, a goblet or a cup or a wineskin or something. And there's always, or often, there is a carving of two people, one on each side, in opposing positions. So, there's one. If there's one that's happy, then there's one that's sad. If there's one that's confused, then there's one that's thoughtful, and that's what this one looks like.
Is there anything in the cup?
There is fluid in the cup. I'm assuming nobody has actually touched the cup at this point, but if you're tall enough,
I haven't.
If you're tall enough, you can see that the cup does have a fluid in it.
How large is this?
I look at Bernie and I tell him it's bad magic, evil.
Figured that.
What should we do?
I think we should take it with us or destroy it.
Yeah, I'm good with destroying it.
So is this cup actually one of the fonts of Narrheit? or it's an indicator that there's a font of Narrheit nearby.
You asking me or Jake?
Jake.
Jake.
Can I make a wisdom check on that?
Based on what you already made your roll, so based on what you know, if this is real, it itself would be the font of Narrheit. It would be one of the fonts. There are several of them.
Aha.
So we're not really able to break it.
No, but we definitely should take it with us then.
I look at Bernie, I'm like, we?
I will.
Do we know what the fluid is?
Well, I don't want to leave it here with these jokers.
Nobody has looked at the fluid just yet.
So Denise kind of listening to this and goes, so what's likely to be in it? What's that fluid? She looks at Jake. And she kind of reaches in and pulls out a piton.
What would it be? Samuel?
You've heard of many things being found in the fonts of Narrheit. For example, fine wine, brandy, milk, water, whiskey. Yeah, lots of different things. It could be anything.
I mean, I've got the light right there. You said there's a liquid. Do we get any indication of color?
It looks dark, and it smells sweet.
Okay.
I'm going to take the piton in it, Leonese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll dip it and see what happens when I dip the piton in it.
Your piton gets wet.
Hey, it didn't sizzle.
That's good.
When he pulls it out, can we get a better judge of the color when he gets it out of there?
It looks like a dark reddish color.
I'll sniff it.
Relatively thin. It smells sweet.
Sweet.
Kind of
Winey sweet or grape juicy sweet?
Yeah, wine sweet. It has a sort of tannin-ish smell.
I mean, is anybody thinking about drinking it, or should we just move on to the next door?
Well, I'm not thinking about drinking it, but I'm really not too keen to leave a major item laying around with these guys.
Is
Not
anybody
gonna-
recommend?
But we really probably don't care about the liquid, right? We just need the artifact, so we could tip the liquid.
pour the liquid out and take the artifact.
Yeah. So I'll reach down then and take hold of the cup
Okay.
and pick it up,
Okay.
pour the liquid out on the floor.
Now you've let the Kraken loose.
I know. He's quickly calculating, can we do this session, or do we need to break next week?
Bernie, you want to roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Okay. And I rolled a 20, and I'll be a 21 with my modifier.
Okay.
And it is prime.
You pour the liquid out, and you're suddenly struck by the idea that this thing's probably worth a lot of money, and you do not want to part with it.
Okay.
Also,
I'm putting it in-
you're struck by the idea that, if you asked for more wine, it would make sure you never went thirsty.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I will carefully wrap that up in my spare small sack and put it gingerly in my backpack.
Okay. Also, as soon as he poured that out, you all hear the sound of many feet running around in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Did we notice any change in Bernie when he touched the cup?
No. You also hear a really disgusting sound of like something eating and bones crunching.
From next door, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Just getting munched at.
Yeah. Maybe we should get out in case they find the secret door.
In case they manage to nudge the mechanism.
Stab them to death as they try to come through the door.
We could.
Does this altar? This is just. Is there anything special about the altar?
It looks like it's made from a pretty solid, large slab of malachite, and it has, the symbol of Narrheit carved into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, it doesn't look all that special. I mean, you could spend some time looking at it more if you want to.
Looney's will take a hammer and a piton and spend a couple of minutes just whacking at it.
Okay. It's a pretty. It's pretty soft. It's kind of like limestone or soapstone, so it's pretty easy to scrape the heck out of it and basically remove that symbol if that's what you're trying to do.
So trying to do, yeah. So you can...
Yeah, if you take just a couple minutes, you could do that pretty easily.
I'm gonna put some from a distance. Toss some holy water on it.
Okay. As soon as it hits it, it steams up, just sizzles.
Yep. Okay. And now we run.
Now we go back across, yeah.
Okay.
And close the door behind us.
Okay. So you're going to go back down the passageway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to take the rope with you this time? Or are you going to leave it there?
We don't... It would be good to try and take it, but I'm not quite sure how we'll get...
Well, I mean, it's 10 foot. If someone takes it, I think I can make the jump.
See that? I'll just tie the rope around me, jump across, and you guys pull.
That's true. Yeah, we just pull you. You're right.
Take the pythons out of the wall, so you have those again.
Yeah, okay, we can do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, that as long as you take your time, that'll work, no problem. You don't even need to roll.
Do you go down the pit and see if there's anything down there in the rubble?
Do you want to crawl down there?
Might as well.
If you want to check, yeah.
Why you got the?
We can let him down there
The other end of the rope?
Keep it on him in case there's something down there and we need to get him out in a hurry.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So you're going to try to crawl down?
I'll just have him lower me down, slowly.
Okay. As you get about halfway down, a really nasty smell hits you in the face.
Is it like rotting?
Yeah, kind of like rotting, kind of like wet, dirty animal. Like rat shit.
All right, little farther.
Okay, let him down a little further.
Okay.
Should we drop a torch down to you?
I can see. I can't see colors, but I can see.
Okay.
So, Rekmit, I'm assuming that when you get down there, you are ready for whatever is down there.
Yeah, I've got my rapier out, so basically, if something comes out, I'll probably say, "Hold me up."
Poke, poke, poke.
I'm ready to hand over hand, so.
If it does turn out to be rats.
Leaping rats. These are they're going to be coming up and they're going to be like nipping at your toes.
So as you start to go down there, you get about you're almost to the bottom. Okay.
I would say I'm halting at 5 feet from the bottom and see if there's like anything moving down there.
Yeah, there are at least 2 things. And when you look at them, they look like they're about 3 feet long. They have 3 sets of legs, elongated snouts, and very sharp teeth in the front, like buck teeth, like almost like a beaver teeth. As you're coming down and you're looking down, they you see them sort of sniff and then look up at you, and then kind of their teeth are barred, and you could see their big buck teeth, front teeth, and you just see drool start to come down out of the sides of their mouth. There's 3 of them.
Is there anything else that I see down there? Anything that would look like there's any potential loot?
Well, so the problem is the bottom of it is covered with the ground that fell away, so it's hard to see. Yes, let me grab a picture real quick, and I will post it here.
And you said there's 3 of them, right?
3 of them, that's correct. Let me just grab a picture real quick. The audience.
Denise calls down. What do you see?
I'll let you know in a second.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Depends on the race of the bread box maker.
Okay, Adobe, come on.
Behave.
Come on. There we go. Oh, come on. Okay, so let me just snip a picture of this. Sorry for the delay, folks. I will.
Well, Derek, I can't quite see him yet.
I'll put it on the Discord as well. And I will put it on the screen so that the audience can see it. And so here it is in Discord. So that is what it looks like, and there are 3 of them.
Pull me up!
I start pulling him up.
So
and then jump up and stab him.
Rekmit, roll me a dexterity save as you try to move your legs away from it when they jump up and try to bite you.
Holy crap, is that a 19?
Okay.
That's the only problem with these dice. It's sometimes hard to see if it's a 9 or a 6. Or I'm just getting old.
Yeah, join the club.
Right. So they all 3 of them sort of jump up and try to nip at you, and they just can't grab a hold of you. But they are.
Swing at him with my rapier.
Say that again.
They close enough for me to take a swing at my rapier before I get pulled up?
Not unless you want to take an attack from one of them, because you're pretty much being pulled up consistently, and you're trying to move your legs so that they don't grab you. If you tell them to stop so that you can take a swing, they're going to get an attack as well.
I'll just fling my legs up like, oh boy.
They're jumping up and they're just drooling all over, and as they sort of slide down the side of the wall, their claws are making, gouges in the side of the wall, and they start clicking their teeth at you. Just, I don't know if you've ever seen an owl. A really agitated owl will start clicking its beak at you, and it sounds very threatening, and that's kind of what they're doing, except they're doing it with their teeth.
I'll just spit at it as I'm going up.
But so you get Rekmit to the top.
All right, guys. I don't know what else is down there, but there's 3 creatures that are not rats. They're like big teeth, 6 legs, and they are taking chunks out of the wall.
Oh, that sounds kind of dangerous.
Bernie, toss
anything else down there.
Bernie, toss the oil down there and light it up.
Well,
They're not coming up here. Why waste the will on it?
Yeah,
I mean, you can if you really just want to kill them, but
Yeah, that'd be the only reason.
Out of game. That's experience points, baby.
so the oil that we do have, is that slippery by any means? No, probably not.
Is it slippery? It's basically grease. Yeah, it's slippery.
So if we have stuff running behind us, which we don't know, right? Do we want to put some of the flaming oil on the...
might be useful at some point.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think we've got these other things chasing us. I just thought we might as well get out of the room in case something did happen. But we've got 2 doors between us and them and this pit.
Actually, we don't know which way they're coming. Just
Jake,
because
you broke up when you were in mid-sentence.
Which one of us?
Oh, when you were talking the first time, asking about what to do with the grease and if we didn't have anything chasing us, you went mute after about halfway through.
Well, we don't know which way they're coming, so... But I was going to say we could put it on the walls to make those creatures that could be following us down into the pit.
Ones with the rats with the teeth?
Yeah.
Well, if we just throw the oil down there and light it on fire, we can burn them, and then we can go down there and check and see if there's any treasure.
Okay. Okay, I'll pull the oil out of my I'll shine the light down there and see if they're still sitting around there.
Oh, they're still they're when you shine your light down, you see the green reflection of their eyes.
If you would like, I could go back down there on the rope and I could squirt the oil on them, or you could do that. You have a chance of 10 feet down to get a better, get it on them versus just throwing it down there.
Okay, here's the torch. Here's the oil.
Well, here's the question. I'm not the best fighter, so I'd have to be the first one in to go after him, but I'm willing to do it with you guys.
Well, we'll keep you above them, and I'll start letting him down. What?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'll start letting him back down, and tell me when you're ready for me to stop.
Yeah, I'll do that at the 10-foot mark.
Okay, I stop.
I'll try and coax him in and...
Oh yeah, if you're lowering down, they're like slathering for you. They're trying to jump up and everything again.
I pour the oil all.
Okay. And then you're throwing a torch down there?
Yep.
Okay. They catch right away on fire. They've got oil.
When he drops the torch, I'm going to pull him back up some as much as I can.
Okay.
I'll let him pull 3 feet and I'll say stop. So I'll be 13 feet off the ground.
These creatures are running around. They're screaming and squealing and snapping their teeth, clacking their teeth together, and they run around for a good 3-4 minutes.
Ride,
And they
ride.
start getting slower, and they're still kind of trying to, roll around and move around. One of them tries to crawl under a bunch of the debris and whatnot, and eventually they stop moving after just a few minutes.
All right, let me down.
They're still on fire, though.
I'm going to go make sure they're dead. I'll go down and I'll go to the closest one, stab it with my rapier, and make sure it's actually dead.
Yeah, it does not respond. And there's no more clicking.
Okay. I'll do it to all three of them. I'm still going to stab them. I ain't taking no chances. That's all I want to do.
Don't blame you.
Whatever come back from the dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
They're dead. You have food. It's cooked.
Very true.
No guarantee it tastes good.
Cut off the leg.
The last meal you ever get.
Tastes like lamb. Tried it. Go ahead.
Don't eat it all. What's down there?
Crispy critters.
While they're messing with the hole, I'm gonna ask to borrow Leonice's pole, and I'm gonna push on the trap door after I climb on the table, and see if it pushes up.
Ah, sure. In fact, Lenise would be with you in the room while they're messing around. She hands you the pole.
So remember the trap door in the ceiling is 20 feet high.
Yeah, he's on the table.
How high is the table?
The table is only 3-4 feet high. It's a normal sized table.
3 or 4.
So the table's 4 feet high. I am just about 6 feet high. That's 10 with a 10-foot pole.
Your arms
Yeah.
above your head.
Yeah, you could probably do it.
And my arms above.
It does not push up. You do see there's a latch, though. But remember, there's also 2 pythons in it, because you had Bert Python it closed.
The trapdoor on the ceiling?
Yep, didn't you? I'm pretty sure you hammered it closed, right?
How did he get up there?
Did you decide not to and just watch it?
I didn't think we did anything with it, but I could be mistaken.
I know there was discussion. It's possible you didn't, and I'm just remembering something that did not happen. I'm pretty sure that you had him make a human pyramid and climb up there and check.
Yeah, we did do a human pyramid.
Yeah.
We did.
Forgot about the human pyramid.
Yeah. But he may have only checked for traps, but I was pretty sure that you put some pythons in there. He had to put some pythons in.
Let's go with this python.
Can I hit the pythons off with the pole?
No, you'll have to.
We'd have to make another pyramid and kind of like work them out.
Okay.
Stooge's ability here.
All right, we'll wait till we get the pit done.
So Rekmit is searching the pit. I'm taking it.
Correct.
Amongst the debris, you find about 19 gold pieces worth of coin. It's not all gold. Some of it's silver. Some of it's copper. It's roughly 19 gold pieces worth. And a small ruby. You also see that there is actually a hole in the wall in the corner on the floor where the floor meets one of the corners.
Right.
And it appears that that's how these things got in and out. So it's possible that the colony is bigger and that more could come.
How big is that hole?
Say that again?
How big or how wide is that hole?
It's only like 8 or 9 inches.
Okay.
wide. Yeah, it's not big enough for a person.
All right, then
It's big enough for one of these things to sneak through, though.
I will drag one of the bodies over there and shove it in front of the hole or into the hole,
Okay.
and then get on up.
Okay.
Show everyone I found.
Okay. All right. So, what do you want to do with the trapdoor in the ceiling?
Guess we should be trying to. Do we hear anything? Leonese will see if she hears anything. As Zeno was prodding, see if anything was kind of wandering around or got disturbed.
You don't hear anything.
Okay.
All right, so human pyramid, and let Jake open the door.
No, Jake is not going to open the.
Whoever is,
I
Don't you
think
wanna see
Jake
some
would be on the
action?
bottom of the pyramid, but
Jake will be at one of the base, right? So Leonese is probably the one who will be at the top.
okay.
All right, I'll help out with the base.
Okay.
If Jake was to go up to the top of the pyramid, he would step on every hand, foot, kick an ear. You know,
Damn it, you're making me do this. Crunch.
How tall is that cage?
It's only about 8 feet tall.
Okay. And is the dude?
You could put it on top of the table.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That's a great idea.
Is it strong enough to take the weight of someone?
We'll find out.
Well, you know what? Yeah.
It's too heavy for us to move down and use it as a crossing point for the pit. So I would hope it is.
No, that was the tape. That was the table, I think, right? So, but we could put the cage on and let you know if you put that takes it to about 12. Lenny's might be able to do it. Don't know if she's quite tall enough to reach and pull out the pitons and open the door.
Is the captive awake yet, or still unconscious?
5'6".
I mean,
Well,
I
I
think
don't-
that when you bodily moved him from that one room over to this one,
Mhm.
it probably woke him up.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's right.
He's just sitting
So-
in the corner watching you. He hasn't said anything.
Well, he's in the cage, but we could pull him out of the cage and stick him in the corner, and then put the cage on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets us to about 12. Her knees is 5'6", so maybe stretching if she could stand on the cage. She might have enough height to kind of work the latch and the pitons.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Okay.
you can do that.
So she'll try and work the pitons out. She'll use her crowbar, pull them out.
Okay.
As they drop to the ground, she'll say, okay, she'll look down. You guys ready?
You got a rope?
No, it's just, are you ready? Because I'm about to open the door.
Well, I know. I'm asking if you got a rope because if you go up in there,
Oh, I don't.
you'll need
have
a rope to drop back down for us.
Yeah, no, sorry. I don't have her. She goes, no, my rope's up there.
Okay. Do
I
do
just
you have pythons and hammer?
I have python. Oh, so I could. Now we've got the pythons out. What I could do is put hammer some new ones in that we can tie the rope to, so it's like below the door, so people can climb up on the rope.
Open it up so we see what's up there. There might be a ladder.
That's true.
All right. So if everybody's ready, then I'm going to open the door.
Pop it.
sword ready.
Okay, so you undo the latch and the door swings down, and it is a roughly 5 foot by 3 foot kind of rectangular opening up, and there are rungs on the northern wall. They're about 6 or 8 inches apart, and they go up as far as you can see. It's very, very dark up there. You can't even really tell how far up it goes.
Okay. I don't hear anything?
Nope.
All right. So I am going to climb up. I'm going to jump up.
Okay.
And pull myself up.
Okay. So it just keeps going up.
So it's just straight to
It's basically
good.
like a shaft with with metal rungs about 6 or 8 inches apart. It's not evenly spaced. It's kind of weird. It's not like they're all 9 inches apart, or so, like some of them are 6, some of them are 8, some are 10, some are 6. It's an odd thing. So it makes you be careful as you're climbing up, because you can't predict
tell.
what the next one's going to be.
All right. And as I look up, it goes higher than I can see beyond my infravision.
Twilight.
I have 120. Oh, forget it. I'm Twilight vision.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you can't... I mean, it's like you're just crawling into blackness. You're climbing into blackness right now.
All right.
You can't even see the ending. But the walls of the thing are smooth, and doesn't look like there's any... you haven't hit any obstructions or any ledges or anything like that.
All right. So I'll go up maybe 10 feet and see, so I don't find anything. So then I'll kind of clamber back down and drop down onto the cage. And,
okay.
Well, it looks like it's a shaft that's going up. It goes beyond 10 feet. And she'll look at Rignit and say, all right, so how deep are we underground at this point? Do you think?
How deep are we?
You think you're probably... so you know that when you went down into the mushroom, you went about 100 feet down, and then you climbed around that cavern, and then when you came into this through the misty door, Rekhmit did not feel like you were appreciably in a different area. You feel maybe 120, 150 feet maximum.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go up to Captive and say, where does that go?
It just goes straight up.
You take his gag out?
Yeah, he can't talk, right?
Can I take the gag out of his mouth?
Well, okay, so I'll ask Blip. Blip, can you kind of go and look up there? But don't go too far.
Sure. Let me go. He flies.
Because otherwise I can go to, because I have deep vision or dark vision, or whatever the heck they call it, for 120 feet.
He comes back down after a couple minutes and says, there's another door. It's about 200 feet up.
Nothing, it's just a straight shaft all the way up.
Yep.
Could your little fairy friend bring a rope up there?
There'll be lots. We've got stairs. Or steps, rungs. We don't need a rope. We tied a rope off at the bottom. So
Does the captive tell you anything?
Say that again.
Does the captive tell me anything about where that goes?
Mm-mm.
You want me to punch him?
Right. So Leonese goes, wait, before you punch him, I do want to have a few words with him. And then you can do what you like.
Okay.
What's the ceremony they were trying to do? What were they trying to raise?
Exactly. Leonese wants to so what are you trying to do? And what are you doing down here? And she fires a whole bunch of questions off at him. What was the ceremony? What was the aim? Why are you down here? And how did you get this place set up?
He just kind of sneers and says, why should I tell you anything?
Rekhmit.
Because if you don't tell us, we probably aren't going to leave you alive when we leave here.
You probably aren't going to leave me alive anyway. I saw you slaughter and murder my friends.
Do you want to go back in to feed the centipedes?
Let's say, but how you die?
Yeah.
a different point.
Yeah, we heard them feeding upon your priest earlier.
They should be feeding on you.
Yeah, well, didn't work that way.
They've
I'll be
tried.
feeding on you in a second. Zeno is going to go up and try to apply a pressure point.
Okay.
Put this guy in some extreme pain.
He just starts yelling.
Does he look like anyone from the town?
No. Nobody. He doesn't look like anybody that you would recognize.
I'll ask him, where do you live? Where are you from?
He's just yelling. He's in pain.
Hey, Jake, you want to go take another look at that hole?
No. I'm enjoying this right now, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to enjoy it, I'm fine with that. I was thinking you might have issues with it.
I believe they're the exact opposite of my deity, Narrheit. Or
Yeah.
close.
He's not a paladin. We're fine.
Well, it's, you know, I look at it as these guys are my enemy. You know.
Okay.
All right, so
I know, but
I'm gonna head up the rungs on the wall.
Okay.
And how high did Leonese? How high did your fairy friend say that it went?
About
100 feet.
about 200 feet.
okay.
200 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty good climb. I'll follow him.
Are you taking
The first
a bite?
100 feet. Well, the first 100
I'll
feet.
have to.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to hammer some pythons and a rope, 50 feet of rope at least. For the first 50 feet, for the first 100 feet, I'm gonna. Do we have more than one rope? I have one rope.
I think I still have one.
So we can hammer every 20 feet the rope into the wall just in case we fall. Or, some of the handholds are questionable, crumbling.
Well, here's the
I
other
know
question.
Samuel.
Do we want to go up there, or do we want to go check anything else out here?
Well, we want to go check on the centipedes and see if they're gone?
We could check that. We could toss this guy in the green pool of whatever it is.
So let's explore up. You know, just to get rid of that option.
Okay.
All right.
I'll lock that guy back into the cage on the table
Okay.
and regag him.
Okay. He passes out.
Good.
Well, keep him just lock the cage door.
So Zeno, you're climbing up, and about at the 50-foot mark, you're going to put a python with a rope hanging on it, so that if you fall or something, you can grab on. Is that your?
Every 20 feet, I'm going to hammer the rope I'm going to hammer a python into the wall and kind of loop the rope through it.
Okay.
Or tie the rope around it.
Okay. And you've only got one 50-foot rope.
I've only got one, but Bernie has one, and I have 4 pythons left. I need one more to make the 100 feet.
Yeah. So
So
did you explain that as you're going up?
Yeah. So wrapping it around is going to take a few inches, right? So you're going to end up losing a few inches for every python that you put in. So you won't quite get the 100 feet. You'll get more like 85, 90 maybe.
That'll work. I mean, just something so when you try to make us fall, we have something to catch on to.
Ooh, me? Come on.
So I have 5 more spikes or pythons.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave you the one to make it up for what you needed now. So but we have more spikes. Don't have any rope, but we have spikes.
I have 50 feet of rope.
Oh,
Now,
All right, so we can make it 150, 130 feet maybe.
okay. Now, are you taking a light source with you up there?
Oh, so do you have a headband or anything on? Any headwear?
I do not. He is bald with a big beard.
Do you have a amulet?
But I do have a shoulder pack.
Hmm.
I can tie a bandage around my head.
Yeah, do something like that, and I'll cast light upon whatever you put. So
Oh,
you have
okay.
10, 11 minutes.
Or I have a chain
Excellent.
coif if that works.
Oh, hey, you know what? I forgot I had bandages, so I'm gonna wrap a bandage around my cut on my head. That heals. Does that heal anything?
Yeah.
Here's the problem: we have to do that like within 4 rounds. I think.
Yeah,
for the
you're
effect.
a little late.
That's
on
what we
that one.
keep forgetting.
Okay.
Yeah.
right.
So fair enough. So how high are you going? You're only going as high as you can put the pythons in, or are you going to try to go all the way up to the top?
So I'm gonna get 130 feet, and then if everything's secure, we can take the last 50 feet off and put it back up on the top until we get to the top door.
Okay. So as you climb up, it's pretty secure. It seems like it's, pretty well put together.
All right, then we're going all the way to the top.
Okay. At the top, there's another trapdoor.
I'm gonna listen to see if I hear anything.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a wisdom check.
Sorry, I had it closed out.
It's okay.
That is going to be a 9 total. It is prime.
Okay. You don't hear anything.
Does the door? Is there a latch or anything? I'm going to look for anything that looks obvious, like a needle or.
There is a latch, and it's exactly like the latch that Leonise used.
Not knowing much about traps, I am going to try to flip the latch.
Okay.
And you're up there all alone, right?
I think
No, I'm with him.
Bernie
I'm
followed
right
him.
behind him.
Okay.
I mean,
As you pull that latch, you click the latch, and the trapdoor swings open, and a whole crap load of bones come falling down, and you hear them falling all the way. They hit you, they hit Bernie, they fall all the way down. They're falling all the way down the passageway. You hear them go knocking into the walls and hitting the rungs and all the way down. Like a ton of multiple ribs and femurs and all sorts of bones from humanoid creatures, just like bucket loads, just came down on you.
Leonise is like
watch out
knocking
below!
out the way as they come piling down.
What happens to the captive in the cage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
He deserves it.
Yes, he does.
Just wonder and worry for my companions, and then I laugh when he starts getting pumped.
Well, he's in the cage, but the cage has a top on it, so it's going to hit the top of the cage.
But is it a mesh? Or is it a piece of metal?
It's probably wood, actually. It's probably wood.
Wow.
Darn it.
All right, so luckily we had the rope. We were able to secure ourselves and not fall off. I'm going to stick my lit head through the hole and see what's up there.
Your head is in a box that is about 5 feet long and about 3 feet tall, and it looks like actually that you're like looking around a cabinet.
Ooh.
And it looks like there's a sliding door that you could open.
Before I open the door, I'm going to climb out and let Bernie come on up here too.
Okay. I'll get up there as best I can and get in there with him.
So
possible.
how large are the two of you? Because this opening is only, this whole passageway up is only about 5 foot by 3 foot.
I'm big.
I'm 5'10", 171 pounds.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that you could crawl past each other in this
Right.
passageway.
Well, no, I'm gonna crawl up into the cabinet,
Oh,
and if it's 5 foot by 3 foot, would there be enough room for him to crawl up after me?
probably only you both will
Because
not.
I'm 6'4", 225.
Yeah, you will both not fit entirely in the cabinet. You'll have to open it and crawl
Okay.
out.
Well, I'll get where I can and get one of my hand axes out in case
Also,
it's needed.
There's still some bones in there. Not all of them fell down. Only the stuff that was just over the trapdoor was.
There's some type of cabinet door in here. Be prepared to come up. I'm going to open it and then jump out, so you can make your way up.
So Leonise is at the bottom. She shouts up there, goes, "What's happening?
We found the
Can we hear
top.
that 200 feet up?
Why are you dropping bones on us?"
The Easter splitting the party.
Leonise will look around. Maybe we should follow them. And Leonise will stop.
Zeno will look at Bernie and say, "Should we go down and tell him what happened?"
Leonise will start climbing up, but she'll send Blip up and say, "Blip, just go. Let me know what's happening.
So
These fools may just go rolling through."
The other thing is, if Zeno and Bernie sort of yell down and tell you there's a cabinet down there, Bert will pipe up and say, "Hey, I've seen that before." Because when you were in the other temple, remember Bert went through the crevice into that room, and then he crawled up the stairs and came into that cabinet part of the altar that had been filled with centipede carapaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we notice as these bones were falling on us if they looked like centipede bones?
They all look humanoid in nature.
Yeah, these are humanoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Leonise and everybody might be climbing up.
Well, Blip come Blip's
Yeah,
Leonise out of Blip to go.
Blip will go up, but what do you want Blip?
As soon as the fairy comes up there, yeah, I'll tell the fairy. I don't know if you can understand me, but we found a door. It's like a cabinet. It's full of bones. Can you go tell everybody else?
It kind of shrugs, looks around, goes back down. It says to Leonise, there's some kind of a door or something up there. I don't really know what they were trying to say, but there's a bunch of bones, and then there's like a sliding door.
So Leonise will turn around and say, Remkit and Zeno. So she'll turn to Jake and no, actually, who went up?
Zeno and Bernie went up.
Zeno and Bernie went up, right? So, all right. So she'll turn around and go, "Okay, they've got up there. They found something with a sliding door. We should. I'm going to go up after them. Looks like it's safe. If he can take a dwarf, he can take an elf."
And that's probably the point where Bert will tell you, "Oh yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember that sliding door of that cabinet."
Wow.
All right, like Zeno's going to slide it open.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Zeno's going to slide it open about 1 inch and peek through.
Okay. You see, what looks like a curtain is on one wall, a very dark curtain, and you see flickering light that seems like green flickering light, like candles.
I'm going to take my headband off and leave it in the cabinet,
Okay.
and then slide it open another inch
Okay.
to see if I can see or hear anyone.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a wisdom check.
Oh, you stupid dice. That's going to be a 7.
Okay. You don't hear anything except...
Do I hear anything?
Clicking of feet.
hold on one second. Let me... Didn't expect you necessarily to go all the way up here this time. We're almost done, so... you do not hear anything except for the sound of flames.
All right, I'm going to look down the hole, back to Bernie, let him know, whisper what I see. There's some flames in the room. There's a curtain blocking on one side of the wall. Is anyone else coming up? Should we go down?
I'm going to look down. Can I see anyone coming up?
You see Leonise climbing up the rungs.
I would be following up after Leonise.
Okay. Yeah, they're coming.
Slowly.
All right, after they get close enough, I'm going to open the door all the way and monk roll into the room.
Okay.
When he does that, I'm going to come up as much as I can without getting out of the cabinet.
So, are you standing up?
So I imagine I have to get in the cabinet and then slide the door open.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I slide it open, I'm going to do a stealthy ninja monk roll, land on my feet, ready to karate chop somebody.
Okay.
That's all right.
And then Barney's going to come up right after me.
So I have visions of Starsky and Hutch right now.
So it's all going to work out well then.
Okay, so let me describe what you see, and then we will end. Okay, and we'll move to the discussion portion of the game. So here's what you see. Zeno, you're standing in a room that is it's about 3 steps higher than the room just to your north. And the room just to your north has pews. Okay, so there are several sets of pews. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 10 pairs of pews. 1 pew on the left, 1 pew on the right. And then a couple feet behind it, 1 pew on the left, 1 pew on the right. So basically you're in what looks like a cathedral type area. There's a black curtain hanging on the back wall. On each of the left and right sides of the room, there's a table, and they are covered in green candles. There is 3 steps down from the area where you're at to the north, to the area where the pews are. And the sort of raised area, there's 3 steps in the middle of the floor, but the raised area has a sort of bronze gate, about 3 feet high, so that nobody falls off that area because there's only steps in the middle. What you rolled out of is an altar, and behind the altar is there's a candelabra on either side of the altar, on the floor, on the ground, sitting on the ground, with green candles in it. And behind the altar is a humanoid figure. It looks like a human female with her arms out, and she's floating in the air, and her hair is flowing sort of as if there's a wind. She has very pale skin, and that's where we'll end.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
I knew Jake should have went first. I knew Jake should have went first.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Be right back. I'm listening.
yeah. I didn't necessarily expect you to go up there today. I thought there was actually going to be a big fight with centipedes. So, there might have been a big fight with centipedes. But instead, there is a ghostly figure with very pale skin in a cathedral. So
We're a smart group, Samuel.
say that again.
I said we're a smart group. We try to kill from afar when we can.
I know it. It's awesome. So one of the things that we haven't talked about really a lot is the number of dice rolls versus the exploration element. So I'd like to get your idea or your opinion about how it feels, whether the number of dice rolls feels right, or too many dice rolls, or too few dice rolls. So that's the one thing. And then I think it's also instructive to maybe talk about, actually Matt suggested this to me, was that a couple of the PCs here are aired based PCs. So for example, Leonise is a high elf, a Shindole elf, Oralu, or Orlau, however you pronounce that. And so that's something that it's not typical. It's not your standard fantasy anymore. It's kind of almost a kind of different way to do a kind of spellcasting character. So the other suggestion is, other than talking about dice rolls, is to maybe discuss something that's heavily related to C&C, and that is what an Orlau actually is, and how that kind of plays into the game. So that's kind of what I was thinking of talking about tonight, and of course I'm open to other suggestions if people have other suggestions.
Sounds good. Like
Yeah.
I like rolling dice, so it feels like there's not enough dice rolls, just because I like rolling dice and the results of getting the dice roll, getting a good roll, and being sad at a bad roll. But I think if you did any more rolls for like checks or anything like that, then it would get too bogged down. So I think the pacing is good, but we're so smart that we stay out of fights all the time. But if we got into more fights, then we get to roll more dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting into fights.
I keep trying.
Wolves like
I'm gonna go back down and go in that room with the centipedes if you want. But no, I agree. I think the dice rolling has been very appropriate for what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did a nice job of having us check for things that need a check and letting us move on through things that don't, instead of having a whole bunch of extra dice rolls that are practically fumble only issues.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's kind of like very old school. It's like, no, tell me what you want to do, and if it's reasonable, you can do it, and if not, maybe you have to make a check, right? If you try and do something stupid, you got to go check. And George said, it's like, yeah, if it's a fumble chance, then maybe you should roll the dice. So I kind of like it. I agree. I love rolling dice, but not for the sake of rolling dice.
Mm-hmm. I try to strike a balance between what the PCs are supposed to be good at, right? And and what you have a chance of actually failing at, versus
Yeah,
versus
exactly.
just rolling for everything. But it's sometimes hard to gauge how good I'm doing that, right? How well that's happening. Partly because this is a new group, and partly because it's being streamed, and so I feel like some of these things I'm a lot better at when I'm in an in-person game, and there's a sort of weird difference that happens in a virtual game where I see you all because we have the video going, but I don't see you all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so there's a weird, you miss part of the body language, you miss kind of some of the facial expressions and stuff like that. So it's a little bit harder to judge in that. So there's that. So hopefully I can keep it at a good pace, good enough that you'll still enjoy the dice rolling. I like rolling dice too. And so I like rolling dice, but I also know that I don't want it to get too much dice rolling,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
And I think for CNC, right, that was the whole point, right? It's a retro clone. There's not supposed to be a lot of dice rolling.
Right.
It's not 3.5 Pathfinder or 5e, which are all fun to play, but there's a lot more dice rolling, and it's
Sure.
like really I have to roll for everything I do.
Right.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening to this in the background, Chuck just started the raffle. So to enter the raffle, type !raffle in the Twitch chat for a $15
or
coupon.
Or waffle.
That won't work. Don't
Waffles.
do it. Waffles.
Go on, I will. I didn't do last time.
My view has been, I think the dice roll has actually been pretty good because it's like the whole point was trying to do something strange. Like I did that thing to jump over the thing. I was like, oh crap, I got to roll. But it made sense because it's not my specialty. I'm not a monk.
Right.
And I like the fact that, okay, we worked our way across the pits. We didn't really have to do a roll. But like if we had done something strange or whatever, probably it would have been a roll. But so I've been enjoying that aspect of it, where not everything just by a roll of the dice. It's if we work something out and it seems reasonable and safe, then we don't have to worry about rolls for the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's part of where I try to strike that balance, right? Like it's pretty creative to say, okay, well let's python the walls diagonally, and we'll throw the dwarf over, and we'll just set that. And honestly, being dungeon delvers as you are, even though you're only first level characters, it makes sense that you would do it if you took your time. You could make it as stable as possible, and that's probably not going to have any issues, right? So there's no real reason to do a dice roll in that case, because basically what you're losing is the equipment, which is why I asked you on the way back, are you going to take that back with you? Because that's where the hardship would come in. Also, now that rope and those pythons, everything gets worn, right? So as soon as you start using everything over and over, now there's going to be a chance of some wastage happening where you're going to end up finding that rope not be such a good tool later on, maybe after you've used it a couple of times. So in that way, the rolls aren't necessary, but there's still consequences for even succeeding at the action in a way. So
Yeah.
But you guys will have to remind me to take those pythons and kind of fix them up again. That's something I can do.
Okay.
In the future, because that's right, with the wastage, those could become dull and well beaten up.
Right.
So I have to admit, in my game, I don't do that purely because I'm too lazy to keep track of it. and to be fair, it's like we just have a group that we're playing, but if we're going to do things like wastage, which is fine, but then we do have to be a little bit more organized and understand. Okay, so like the rope we just picked up, we need to mark that as, hey, it's being used. Probably not strenuously, and we kind of have to think about how do we track that. And if we're pulling pitons out, okay, so I've still got my 10 pitons, but 6 of them have been used once. So now maybe they're a little blunter, they're a little bent, right? So they're not quite as stable.
Right.
So when next time we go and do the door against the centipedes, it's, hey, they've been used, so now they've got weak points and they'll break. Right. Things like that.
Yeah. And so partly I'll try to remind you of those things, and partly, it's really a way to, if there is a bad roll at some point, for me to have a reason for a consequence, right? Well, that happens to be that Python didn't hold because it's been one that's been used before, rather than just, oh, you got really unlucky and that perfectly pristine Python that was put in wonderfully just 20 minutes ago, suddenly it fails now, which doesn't make as much sense as, hey, by the way, that happens to be one that you used before, and so there's some inconsistency in how well it's able to hold that.
And so that's a perfectly good way of doing it, right? So it's you're rolling. I don't say you're rolling dice, but you're kind of like randomly saying, hey, yes, you did exactly what you said you were going to do, but guess what? It happened to be something that was already used.
Right.
Now that takes away, that puts some randomness in it, without having to have all the tracking.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually kind of cool. I picked that one up, actually.
There are a few things that I track, but there's also the point of, right, there is a point where the tracking is too much, right? It's similar with encumbrance, the way I feel about encumbrance. Like, I feel like it's something that should be worked out when you first make the character, right? So that that you don't just have something that's completely out of bounds and you're carrying, 5 people's worth of equipment, and that's really just unrealistic. Not that realism is exactly what I'm going for, because, we're playing a game with orcs and dragons and giant rats with big teeth. But but it's verisimilitude, right? Like, it should make a little bit of sense within the game world, and so that's why I say, for encumbrance, I have the players determine their encumbrance at first, and then I don't really worry about it all that much, unless you tell me, hey, I want to pick up that dwarven statue, instead of toppling it over and putting it in front of the door. Hey, we're going to carry that out. Okay, well, now we have to worry about how much everybody can carry, right? And how realistic that might be to get that out. Are you going to have to cut it in pieces? Are you going to have to try to figure out which parts of it are the most valuable, and things like that, where it becomes more of an issue of what would be kind of realistic in this case. And then it's even still not kind of an encumbrance issue, if you know what I mean. It's more of a, let's figure out the logistics of doing this thing you want to do, and moving this mass of treasure that you want to move, and how likely is it that you can actually do that. And if you're creative and smart like you guys are, then generally you're going to be able to do those things. It's just a matter of making sure we can balance the kind of, what would be really possible and what would just be way too fantastical to work. So
right. Yeah.
And I agree, though, tracking is, tracking, it's just so, it's tedious, right? Unless you're actually playing a game where specifically it's about survival and maintaining all of your equipment, then tracking is actually worth it, because it's part of the game and it's part of what you're supposed to be doing. But that's not really the kind of game we're really playing. Like, there's a tiny bit of that, but not a huge amount. So, yeah.
Right. So, if you really are doing, as you said, a survival game, then that's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that I want to talk about, and Chris, you had walked away, so I'm not sure you heard this, but one of the things I was saying was that your character, and also Rekmit, the rune mark dwarf, is, your characters are kind of different from the standard, so the Orlau is different from the standard wizard. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot because I didn't tell you to prepare anything, but do you want to just talk about a little tiny bit about how it's different between like if you were going to just be a regular run-of-the-mill wizard from the PHB versus being an Orlau from the Player's Guide to Aird?
Sure. So the thing I love, so in original, right? So they had elf as a class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wonderful because you could be a fighter wizard. Now, depending on who you played with, they may say you have to pick tonight, or whenever you're playing. Like, are you the elf, or are you are you the wizard, or are you the fighter?
Right.
So you may have to make a decision, but that's okay. So the Orlau kind of brought that back. It's like, here I'm playing an elf, and I get, the beauties of an elf. An elf's a beautiful toy because of all the skills they get. Like, it's like the bow, I can fight, it's great. But I can cast, and I love doing magic. the best thing about the oral hour is, A, you don't have to make the decision. Well, unless you tell me later we do. But if you play it by the book, which is why I loved it when I saw it in the Adventurers Backpack, is this is perfect. I don't get, I get 80% of the benefits of being a wizard, right? So I don't get the same number of spells, and I progress a little. My spell progression is different, but who cares? Because I can fire a bow, and I can handle a sword, and I can wear armor. Right? So I think it has become my favorite class because it combines everything I love. Because I love playing elves. I like mages. If I think through my games, I play mages and rangers a lot. So elves are a natural race to play for that, regardless of which edition you play. So this is like, when I saw this, it was like I was like almost in heaven, as much as in heaven as you can get playing in D&D.
Yeah. Now, the casting part, do you prep your spells a little bit differently, correct?
Yes, so that's the other beautiful thing about them. So one of the penalties you have for, the lower spell progression is that you don't have to memorize your spells. You still have a spell book, so you have like known spells, right? So you're kind of halfway between a wizard and a cleric. It's like I have my list of spells. I can call them at will. So, what have I got? I've got half a dozen spells, a little bit more, right? But I don't have to think, okay, each morning, which one am I going to cast? It's like, all right, these are what I have. So, because of my intelligence, I actually get some extra bonus spells, but basically I have 2 0 level and 2 first level. I pick them at will. So I'm basically at that point, I become a cleric. It's like, oh, which one do I need to use? I can use this one. Well, actually, even better than the cleric, because the cleric still has to pray in the morning.
Right, the cleric has to prep. So the drawback to this is the only spells you have are what you get in the game. But honestly, so that's the difference between the cleric, is that the cleric has to prep, but they have access to everything for their level.
Yes.
So when they prep, they get to choose. You don't have access to everything. You only have access to your known spells, but you don't have to prep. So it's kind of flopped on its head. The thing is that the only spells that you get, the cleric gets, when they raise a level, they learn and get access to the extra spells of whatever level is now open to them. You don't get that benefit. You have to find all your spells. But honestly, that's the same as any other wizard that would be in my game. That's how you would also you wouldn't just get granted spells when you raise a level anyway. So you're not actually losing anything at that point compared to the wizard. Right.
Right.
So.
And it depends on, and people play these different ways, right, for wizards, where I play in a game where you only gain, if you're a wizard, you only get spells if you find them or you spend time learning them, right?
Right.
From someone else. There's other ones where it's like, hey, you've gone up a level, you get access to more spells. We kind of skip the learning stuff. It's streamlined, but in the Orlu, I believe, and again, depends on how you play your game, is, hey, I have to find the spells, or spend time with somebody where I can learn from, or I copy from somebody's spellbook.
Right.
So those scrolls that we found, are you able to add those to your spell repertoire even at level 1?
Yeah, so I did add mirror image to my. I can't use it, but it's in my spellbook.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any spells when you level up, let's say you haven't found any, then you just don't get any extra spells until you find one, right?
Correct. So I have right now my abilities are, I've got 2 0, 2 first, but I do get bonus spells at second and third. Well, when I get to the point where I can use a second level spell, I actually have one. I have mirror image in my spellbook. Oh, and I also have,
potentially, if you went all the way up to 4th level and didn't find any spells, you would still be stuck with the same spells.
Correct. Yep.
Right. But so would any wizard. So that's not just because of the oral owl. That would happen to any wizard in my game, because that's the way I run spells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in order for any caster who uses arcane magic in that way, in order for them to get spells, they have to either buy a spell scroll, buy the training from a mentor that teaches them the new spells, or find a spell scroll during adventuring, right? Or find another friendly mage who they let them trade spell books, and so you can copy all the spells, right? So that's really, those are really the only 4 ways to get a spell. You don't just suddenly know them. Like a cleric just suddenly kind of knows their spells, right? They because they pray to their deity, and their deity gives them access to these more powerful sets of powers, and so they're just now available to that person. So the cleric never has to search for new spells, right? Unless that becomes a quest thing where, if it could be that a deity tells a cleric, hey, if you find this artifact of faith, you will get granted something extra, right? Like that could happen. Yeah. But on a level up, once the person has done their training, the cleric gets their spells. The wizard doesn't necessarily, unless they paid for the knowledge of extra spells. So.
Yeah, kind of speaking about the training and stuff like that, I like the idea of starting another character whenever our guys have to level up and go to training. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
Yeah, I think that's the way we're going to go. And I think Bert is going to end up being the first person that levels up, although he wasn't here tonight, so he might end up being similar to a couple others of you. There's going to be a ton of experience once you get back to town, if you survive to get back to town.
Yeah, we're going to survive and get back to town.
Well, then we get to roll up the characters anyway, so...
Yeah, right. You can make your way up there and find everybody's dead bodies and loot their corpses.
Yeah. So Leonise has a cousin who's come to collect her belongings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that in the olden days you would make a new character and it would just be basically the same. Oh, this was my character William. This is his brother Billiam who has come to gather his things. Oh, and then he dies. This is his brother Tillium who has come to gather his things. And then he dies. Oh, this is his brother Pillium who's come to gather his things. So yeah,
and that was all in session.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
I've been keeping kind of like a episode recap. Do you want me to post that in the Pools of Narrheit so everybody can read up on our story if they want to?
Yeah, sure. Also, you could actually post it on the Discord in the Tales of High Adventure channel is for people's recaps of their games. So if you want to keep it private, you can post it in Pools of Narrheit, and if you want to post it for everyone to read, then post it in the Tales of the High Adventure. I'm sure everybody would enjoy reading that. So, thank you for doing that. That's good.
I'll post it in there.
Read my notes; they're very.
Yeah, you guys can feel free to add whatever you want to it.
Awesome. Well, I think that is a good place to end. I appreciate everybody hanging out and watching and trying to win from the raffle and Matt, you won the raffle, right?
Oh, Matt. I did. I haven't won anything for 6 months, so I was finally due.
Yay, well done.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, so I think that will take us out of here. So thank you very much for watching.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Come back next week and find out whether Zeno gets zapped by a pale-faced woman floating behind the altar he just crawled out of. All right.
I'm the reckless one.